Winners don't use drugs.
All right. What's up, everybody? Tommy, Jens, DBS. How you guys doing?
I am doing great.
You are?
Yep, doing good.
All
With
right.
some wrestling talk.
Another worst of the worst
yeah.
wrestling talk. Yeah. Have fun doing these. Just talking about the shitty moments of wrestling is sometimes more entertaining than talking about the good parts of wrestling. And today is
Well, if it wasn't for the shitty parts, would there be really good parts?
that's true.
Wouldn't
You wouldn't
everything
know.
just
You
be
wouldn't.
kind of mediocre then?
Yeah, you wouldn't really know what to appreciate. You know.
Oh, Tommy's got all physiological, whatever it is.
And then sometimes, you get shit driven into your fucking skull for years if people don't fucking start throwing garbage at people like Triple H enough. But I'm not going to talk about that yet. Most boring wrestlers. Talk about the most. All right. Well, most boring in our individual opinions. No slander on these guys. Just
90% of the female wrestlers.
Yeah, I think you just stole Jens's whole fucking shtick right there.
I'll just say 99%. Only Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus should clone herself. It'd be Trish Stratus v Trish Stratus. In fact, she can clone 3 of herself, and she can have a decent women's tag match.
They'll all have to wear different outfits so you can.
Yeah.
So we'll go down the line here. All right, Tommy. We'll start with you. Who do you think is one of the most boring wrestlers you've ever seen? I'm talking about not just like in the ring. People who can't wrestle for shit, but people who grab the microphone and they babble and babble and babble for 30 minutes, and it's not interesting. People who have gotten like overextended championship runs in companies where like, would this guy just boot the fucking belt already? Stuff like that.
That's a tough one. I don't have one for you right at the moment.
No?
I don't. Get it back. Get it onto me.
Sure.
Let's give Tommy that. All right. And he even admits it himself. William Regal. He does so because in a show interview, he went, "Oh yeah, my style's a bit boring," but apparently though he was saying in sort of like exhibition matches, when the camera ain't on, apparently he goes quite hard at it, sort of thing. But he knows he's a boring wrestler though. That's why to like spruce it up, he has to like slap people around.
Like too old school of a wrestling style, you mean?
Yeah. Both agreeing to like go a bit stiff and that, they're both like, because he was telling a story of when he was wrestling for these troop army dudes.
Their tribute to the troops? Was it the when they went to Afghanistan? Shit like that?
Yeah, or it was something to do with army stuff and that. And they knew like they weren't going to get much attention because if you want an army do, it was a corporate do, or somewhat where they didn't think they'd get much attention, because it was a wrestling. They used to have like comedians, and so I think it was him and Finley just started slapping each other really hard. So like,
yeah, well, they also had 900 matches against each other, didn't they?
Yeah. But his wrestling style was boring though, because
I don't honestly think that his wrestling style I honestly don't think his wrestling style is boring. I could see how people would say that when they're used to seeing nothing but super kicks and power bombs.
Yeah. Well, his wrestling style was proper old school
Yeah.
like British wrestling where it
What do you
was
call
all
it?
about
Catch wrestling or chain wrestling, shit like that.
yeah, a lot of fucking twisting each other around
Yeah.
and flipping off the floor whilst doing a somersault to get them in an arm lock, to reverse an arm lock and all that. It was quite athletic and that, you know, but it was more strategical sort of style wrestling where they didn't.
DBS, I'll bring this up when it's your turn, okay?
Yes.
I see you
Yes.
got one already.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and like his sort of mic work wasn't so bad. It wasn't great, but
I thought
it.
his mic
Oh,
work was pretty damn good.
yeah, yeah,
His
yeah,
his
yeah, but
villainous character is pretty good.
yeah. Oh, it was good, but it wasn't great. I don't think
Not
because
the not the best, but I think it's pretty good.
no, it worked, But I believe though that his mic work got helped by him just waving to the crowd with that sort of like aristocratical look on his face to say, "You scummy cunts," sort of thing.
Yeah, he was mostly a heel though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For a lot of his career, he was a heel.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
definitely a great heel.
where he would walk with his arm behind his back, and he'd look around at the crowd like they were
So,
stunned.
so my question is to Jens: is you didn't like him as the lumberjack? For shame.
Are you talking about
Uh,
he's a man?
A man's man.
Such a man. Yeah.
no,
What the hell was that?
yeah, I don't even know about that, but
Oh,
it
you
sounds
didn't know
good.
about that? Okay, so he got fired from WCW for stiffing Goldberg in that match that he was supposed to be squashed, where he was supposed to be squashed, but he made it like an extended match against Goldberg. All right,
Yeah, right.
and then yeah, Tommy, how long was this? It wasn't even. It was like 2 or 3 months max, right?
Yeah.
He shows up in WWF as the man's man. William, no, well, he was still called Steven Regal at that point. So he was the man's man, Steven Regal. And he was
Right.
he was doing the same voice. He wrestled the same, except he came out dressed in like jean shorts and like a fucking a flannel shirt and a construction hat. You never saw this, really?
No.
Oh, I'm sure he wishes no one saw it.
Mm. You should bring it up.
He's a man. He had a song where the guy literally says, "He's a man."
Well, he was a man.
But
Because
yeah,
apparently, William Regal, he like, he's quite tough and that. You know, obviously not one of the toughest, but
oh,
he
he's an
did
old
play.
school. He's an old school
Yeah,
British guy. Of course, he's tough.
yes. But he did play a bit of a like poncy ass. He reminded me of the $1 Million Man. I mean, Ted DiBiase. He reminded me of like a Ted DiBiase, but like the British version.
But I could see how some people would say that his wrestling is boring. I didn't
Yeah.
mind his wrestling though, because he did some cool shit.
Ah, yeah, man. But
But all right. See,
his,
DBS.
his wrestling persona might not have been boring, but his wrestling style in the ring could have got a bit tedious.
DBS has a one ready to go. Here we go.
All right. The
Erwin R.
the
Shyster.
accountant. Yeah, dun, 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 the accountant.
Yeah.
I'm your worst nightmare. I'm gonna kick your ass and do your taxes.
Yeah.
Um, I would be pissed. Like, you work so hard, you work out, and you finally made it to professional wrestling. You're on TV, and it's like, oh, this is the character we made up for you.
All
The
right, but
accountant.
you know what though? This was his own fault because right before he came into WWF to do this, he was Captain Mike Rotundo in WCW, and he's coming out dressed as a. Oh no! Wait. First he was First he was Captain Mike Rotundo, dressed in like yachting clothes. Then all of a sudden he was. Oh shit! What was it? In the York Foundation. Did anyone ever? Tommy, did you see that era of WCW? Oh, Michael Wall Street. That's what he was.
Mhm.
So IRS was basically an evolution of Michael Wall Street.
I mean, if he wanted to be a jerk, he could have like dressed up, with like the preppy clothes, but with a tennis racket. And I use the tennis racket to fuck
What's
people
up,
up.
Sentinel? How you doing, Sentinel?
Yeah, but that's like Rick the Model
Nigel?
Martel.
What's up, Nigel? How you guys doing?
Yeah.
So
But,
my number one pick for worst, like maybe he was a good wrestler,
he was
but
decent. He was a decent wrestler, I'd say.
yeah,
Tommy, you got an opinion on Mike Rotundo? Erwin R. Scheister over here?
I always thought he was a good worker. He was definitely not flashy in any sense, but
No.
I thought his mic work was decent. I thought it was decent enough. There was definitely people a lot worse on the mic than him, and even more boring in the ring.
What's up, Papa Cotton? How you doing?
I have a question. Did this guy make it to the Hall of Fame?
Is he a Hall of Famer? You know what? I'll look that shit up right now.
If I were in charge, it would be definite no lifetime forever ban, never make the
All right.
Hall
Well,
of Fame.
he was a tag team champion back in the day with Barry Windham, if anyone remembers Barry Windham. And he was just plain old Mike Rotundo. He just wore fucking a Speedo. He didn't have no stupid gimmick.
Did this guy have an action figure?
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And did it sell? Or was it placed in the clearance rack? So
Okay, no, he's not in their fraud Hall of Fame. No,
he will
he's
never be in there.
I don't know. He might. They put Coco Beware in their Hall of Fame. They could put anybody in their Hall of
I'm
Fame.
the only person that remembers this dude.
No, you're not. No. I remember there was a storyline where because all right, all IRS used to do was accuse people of being tax cheats. That's literally all he did on the mic. And he accused Razor Ramon of being a tax cheat. So I think he got Repo Man to repossess his or he did it himself. If he didn't get Repo Man, I think that I might be mistaking the Repo Man thing with the $1 Million Man. But he took Razor Ramon's gold chains to fight Razor Ramon being a tax cheat.
Did he also convert the Godfather into the Good Father?
No, that was Stevie Richards.
Right. But
IRS wasn't wrestling there at that point. With Right to Censor, you're talking about that shit?
yeah, I'm sure there was three or four of them, weren't they? And I know they all started going on a sort of
Yeah, they turned the Godfather into the Good Father, and Val Venus stopped being a porn star. Yeah. But IRS was also a victim of the occupational days of wrestling when a lot of the gimmicks was someone with a day job. When we had a garbage man wrestling.
Yeah.
There was a hockey player.
Yeah, they did sort of just sling any fucking character out and hopes maybe it stuck.
Was professional wrestling ever real? Yeah, when the wrestlers would really beat the fuck out of them, the other guy in the ring.
Well, you still have professional wrestling that is real. but it's like Olympics, isn't it?
Okay. What's up, Vigilante? All right. He'll be on soon. I think Vigilante and I have the same number one on I think we have the same number one on who we're gonna say.
Well, I thought about it. I thought
said
about it
mine.
for a while, and I do have something when we're done with IRS.
Okay.
I had to think about it though, because I was thinking of a couple people, but all the people that I'm thinking of, they either have one skill or another. Either they're really good in the ring or they're really good on the mic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of somebody who was bad on the ring and in the mic.
Yeah, but they're like nobodies, aren't they? They're so bad that they don't even really get known.
Yeah, but some of the most boring ones to me are the ones who seem to have gotten the most screen time at certain points.
Well,
I could think three. I could think of three right now. After thinking about it for a while, there's three of them in the top of my head that were bad in the ring and on the mic. And why on God they were ever pushed to be on freaking TV is beyond me.
What's up, Bostinator? How you doing?
Well,
Anything else to say on IRS? Other than you wish him harm? Do you wish him harm?
I wish him a ban, life, forever, eternity ban on never getting into the Hall of Fame.
do you think he should have worn a like one of them, whatever they're called, mask things that the Spanish wrestlers wear? Is it
A luchador mask?
Yeah, a luchador mask. Yeah,
He's
do you
gonna
think
be
he
a
wore?
luchador IRS agent.
Yeah, I reckon if you just put a luchador mask on, uh, DBS is gonna like it.
Him with the La Parka mask. That would be awesome.
I'm just tweeting it out on your the tweet you sent out about the stream.
I got you.
My reply. There, done.
I got you.
Sucks
All
balls. Hashtag sucks balls. Hashtag never Hall of Fame.
You're slandering IRS.
Yes, it's done. It's in the cloud now, forever in the cloud.
All right, Tommy. You're up.
Mike Rotundo is in a Hall of Fame.
He's in the
I just don't think.
George Tragos Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says.
Yep.
Not Vince McMahon's non-existent Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Why doesn't he just make a Hall of Fame in the corporate fucking office? Why not just do that?
What?
That would be easy to do.
I don't get it. What? Just put all the placards and that in his office.
But yeah, Tommy, you said a couple guys just popped into your head about who you want to talk shit on.
Oh yeah. The missing link. There was a guy who had absolutely no mic skills and had absolutely no wrestling skill whatsoever. And why he was ever being pushed on TV was beyond me. That guy was just a waste of time and effort.
He looked cool though. He had a cool look. You can't deny that, Tommy, for the time.
He had a drawn-on six-pack.
No. You're thinking someone else, dude. You're thinking Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
All right. I'll bring up a picture of the missing link.
I found another one that just my opinion when it's my turn again.
I got you.
We can hear you.
I don't know. The missing link at least had a cool look.
Who's this douchebag? The missing link.
And he was roided up too.
Never Hall of Fame. He's part of the. He's also a part of the Never Hall of Fame.
Part of the Never Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Probably a bit before his time because he picked the wrong colour. Because if he'd have done it, painted it black, like whatever the wrestlers called the Black Summer. They're like, but just sort of like the same, but with black face paint.
And he wasn't really pushed either. He wasn't really. He was a
Oh
guy.
well,
He was a guy who was just kind of there. Oh, here's him with Kamala.
yeah. Well. I've been watching a few wrestling stuff, and apparently there was like Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels, and I forget someone else. And it was sort of like you had to be all right with them, or else you weren't going to get pushed. Especially Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels fucking ruined a few people's careers because you didn't get on
The
them.
missing link was before Shawn Michaels' time.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, missing link was 80s. Well, Tommy, you didn't like his moronic fits that he used to throw during his interviews. He was almost another
No.
George the Animal Steel.
And please, Georgie Animal Steel was a class act compared to this guy.
No, I'm talking about the way his gimmick was.
I didn't care for it. I just really thought it was terrible. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was almost as bad as a Tugboat. And God, what the hell was he when he went over freaking WCW?
The
Shock Master. Oh God, there's another one. Absolutely no real in-ring presence other than he would sit on you. Him and Earthquake both.
Earthquake was good in the ring, though, man. Earthquake was a fast, fat guy that could move around. Earthquake could move. Earthquake was legit a sumo, and sumos can move just because they're big motherfuckers. And they could still move.
And Tugboat did his toot thing. So
I remember when Tugboat became Typhoon and him and Earthquake were a tag team.
Yeah.
Natural disasters.
The natural disasters. Yeah. Earthquake carried that team. And what's up, Vigilante? How you doing, bro?
Hey.
Another wrestling talk. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how's everybody?
Chilling.
Pretty good.
Sorry, I had to put my headphones on.
All right, since
George the Animal Steel is one of my favorites.
But did he really wrestle?
No,
he just ran around the ring like a moron.
He ate the turnbuckle.
A lot of those 80s wrestlers weren't really like, it wasn't about in ring like that back then. It was about like character.
It was like half and half.
Yeah, half and half. Because you still had like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and you had the tag team division, like where you had the Rockers and shit.
I enjoyed when he chased Miss Elizabeth around when they had
when he was obsessed with that.
Yeah.
He gives us some flowers, and Macho Man started smashing them in his face.
Yeah. That's crazy because he was the baby face then. It's like, he's trying to grape this woman, and everyone's like, yeah, get her.
Yeah, he was basically doing a Pepe Le Pew to her.
Right?
Well, Vigilante's got him trying to me too fucking the animal, but no.
I am, right?
Yeah. No, it was trying to woo her, wasn't he? But because she had a bloke, he didn't give a fuck, and he was wooing her in front of the.
Also, George the Animal Steel was trying to be her white knight because he saw how abusive Macho Man was to her. Macho Man was gonna get. How many times did Macho Man run around the ring and then pull Elizabeth in front of the guy he was wrestling? Macho Man at first was a scumbag in WWE. It was fucking hilarious. But since Vigilantes come in here, give us one of your boring wrestler lists. One of your lists of the boring wrestlers, whether it's like too much promo time, too much camera time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody I thought was really boring, like, because it does seem like even guys I think that have like boring in ring, they usually have personality. Like, I hate to say it because he's one of my favorite wrestlers just because he's from Detroit and he talks his shit. And RIP to his son, Kevin Nash wasn't the
Kevin
best
Nash.
in-ring guy. You know what I mean?
Nah, he wasn't.
But then he did talk his shit. He was a good promo. And then another guy I thought of, Dean Malenko. But it's like, well, he had good matches. So
Well, it's also like our opinions of like what turns us away from what makes us want to change the channel when a wrestler comes on.
see, that's the thing. Like, who made me really want to change the channel? Because they were so boring.
See, I thought you would have had one because we've had a
There's one.
conversation.
Hey, listen, there's one overall. Honestly, the guy in your thumbnails, the one I'm trying to,
There you go. There you go.
I didn't want to say it. I'm like, I'm gonna wait on that. You know
What's
what I'm
up,
saying?
Daytona? How you
But
doing,
the guy in
Daytona?
the thumbnail, man, there was a point in the late 90s, 2000, they started to push him, and I'm just like, why? He had these long, drawn-out promos. And
I
like,
remember he would start Raw talking on the mic for 20 minutes every
God.
Raw, and it was just the same shit that he was saying the week before.
He was so boring. And then Evolution came and made him somewhat interesting after a while. But there was a stretch, I would say, between 99 and 2004 where he was
Chokehold.
Unbearable.
Stranglehold.
I'm counting 99 where there was The Rock and a lot of the people that he didn't hold the belt the entire time, but he held it a lot for that era. And it's just like, man, he just was. After he left DX and he turned heel, his promos got really long and really annoying, and he would do these really slow matches where nothing happened. He does the same 5 moves, he does a little knee shit, and it's just like, man, this shit is just not good. But he was surrounded by people that helped him. He was surrounded by The Rock and Undertaker and Stone Cold, and
he was there at the right time.
Yeah. So yeah, Triple H is my guy. He's my number one, but I was trying to wait on him.
He is my number one.
Yeah.
So I guess I might have spoiled my number one.
Because he's just I think he's probably the number one overall born. I'm gonna go with Dean Malenko. Even though part of me did like his matches, I never rooted for Dean Malenko. I never really rooted against Dean Malenko. You know what I mean? He just kind of was there. He was important for the division. When you had, Eddie
the cruiserweight division.
Yeah, the cruiserweight division in that time. You had, Psychosis, all these cool guys. You needed a guy like Dean Malenko to be this fundamental kind of guy, but he just didn't provide much. You know what I'm saying? He just was kind of there.
I got to say, I rooted for Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with that. I mean, Dean Malenko was a hell of a worker, though. A hell of a worker in the ring. Like, when he had his matches with Eddie Guerrero, he had some of the most incredible matches that you ever wanted to watch, especially when they were doing stuff in ECW and early WCW. But, I mean, quite honestly, when you're talking about, like, rooting for him, I can't say that I ever rooted for him. I probably would have rooted for Horace Hogan before I would have rooted for him.
Let's see, not me. At least Dean Malenko did cool moves. What the fuck?
He did do cool shit.
What move did I can't remember a single move Horace Hogan did. I really can't.
You ruined it for me.
He did the improvised Hogan leg drop.
Man, Horace might be on somebody's list. I'm sorry.
That's the wrestler I was gonna pick. I have that on the first.
That's him.
Chair.
Yeah, I thought. All right. See, I didn't bring the picture up yet
because you guys are talking about Horace.
I'm gonna bring your pictures up when you go. I thought it was just incredible. The picture I'm seeing right now.
Share it. That's Horace.
Man, yeah, Horace is pretty bad.
What's up, Steven? Stephen Ransom.
Steph.
Yeah.
How you doing, bro?
Yeah.
So your number one is Triple H.
Yeah.
My number one is also Triple H. So I guess I won't talk about how goddamn boring Triple H was.
Man, you can talk again. He was that boring, man. It's because I
don't know how you can think that Triple H is boring. It's time for the game.
The only matches I really enjoyed from him was his matches with Foley, and it was mostly because of Foley.
Yeah.
Actually, the one that he had with The Undertaker wasn't too bad.
I was going to say that one too, but it's because of The Undertaker. You know what I mean? The first one at WrestleMania back in like 2001. I think it was WrestleMania X7. Had a
No,
really cool.
you know what? There's very few people that the Undertaker could have a bad match with. One of them was El Gigante.
Oh God,
Oh man, fucking Jesus fucking H Christ.
that's another guy. I thought putting-
There was one of the other guys I was thinking of that was absolutely a waste of space.
Ooh, I got. You know what? There's somebody else. I don't know if he was mentioned earlier. I'll wait till it comes back around. I don't want to steal everybody's time.
Oh, you're just gonna say the later version of El Gigante, the fucking Great Khali,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And he was just basically El Gigante Part 2. That's all.
But he lasted longer. El Gigante was in there, out of there. You know what I'm saying?
They made Great Khali a champion.
They made him the world champion.
They made him a fucking champion. Oh my God. How bad was business at that point?
You're talking about the missing link and how pushed he was. The Great Khali. Come on. He's my number 2, honestly. So I was trying to wait on these trump cards, but man, Great Khali was in ring bad.
They made him a champion.
And they put the fucking belt on this guy.
Ted DiBiase was never a fucking champion. Rick Rude was never, well, not WWF. Not WWF. I mean world champion.
World champion, yeah.
You know, it's unbelievable. They made Kane champion for one day at one point. There was the first time Kane was champion one day, and then he lost the next night on Raw.
Crazy, yeah. I would put Khali up there, man.
You know what? That was a big thing though with WWF, WWE. I mean, there were so many guys that were they should have been mid-card level players at best, and they were getting these big pushes, and they had no business being there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a lot of workers, and that's all they were was workers. Like at Special Delivery Jones, there was a tremendous worker right there. Who he actually operated. His in-skill ring was probably in the upper tier, but he was never going to be anything more than just a jobber. Then you had people like Bruce Lombardo, who became the Brooklyn Brawler. There was another good jobber. Lombardi. There was another good jobber who actually did some decent stuff in the ring, but he was never going to be anything more than that, though.
There was a jobber back in the day that I actually liked. That I was like, man, I wish I could see this guy win a match. Tommy, you remember Tiger Chung Lee?
No,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, Tiger Chung Lee was this. He was like built like a brick shit house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was one of them fucking, like Scott Norton type builds.
Yeah,
this Korean guy, and he lost every single fucking match I ever watched him wrestle.
Damn. Shit, you mentioned the Brooklyn Brawler. There was a point, I want to say 95, where they didn't he have like an Intercontinental Championship match or some shit?
No, well, yeah, I think he was feuding with all right. For some reason, he was actually part of the Heenan family. I remember for some reason Bobby Heenan became his manager, and he was feuding with the Red Rooster.
Okay, I thought later on, like in the mid 90s. Oh man, I thought he had another like mini push. Maybe I'm misremembering it. I can't think of who he was feuding with. I have to look it up.
Well, they dug him up a couple times for like nostalgia purposes as a joke, because he was still a backstage guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the way they did Sergeant Slaughter a couple times. They dug up Sergeant Slaughter out of the grave, and they're like, "Hey, you're a backstage guy. Go out there and wrestle."
Yeah.
But all right, DBS.
Share my picture. That's Horace Hogan.
The already mentioned Horace Hogan. I don't remember this guy doing a single wrestling move. Maybe I didn't watch Thursday Night Thunder too much. I don't know. I thought he was just a guy either there to get his ass kicked or to like throw a big boot and interfere in someone's match or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, being Hulk Hogan's uncle gets you in the door, and you don't need to do anything. Just show up.
Yeah.
Apparently he was a deathmatch wrestler in Japan,
which means nothing. It means you don't have to have skill to be a wrestler.
Yeah, he was basically just light tubing it up, I guess, and barbed wiring it up.
He's also in the club, the Never Hall of Fame club.
Never, ever.
They didn't even.
Well,
They
I don't
didn't
know if they open up a worst of, he could probably get in there.
They didn't even bring him in when they bought WCW. I don't even think they attempted to bring him in.
Yeah, like a Rotten Tomato club or something for wrestlers. He should wear a shirt. The
That says
NHF
not Hall of Fame.
Never Hall of Famers.
I thought it was Prince Albert. Not first.
Yeah, when I saw the small picture, I thought it was just incredible.
He looks like Justin Incredible was drunk on or some shit.
Yeah. So one of my picks of worst boring wrestler.
All right, so I guess it goes back around to me now. I'm gonna fucking talk about this boring ass motherfucker because he's BORRIN.
Man.
Double G.
That's such a good one.
This motherfucker. Good God, this guy even made his own company so he could be champion 900 times.
The company is still around, by the way.
Fucking Jeff Jarrett. Holy fucking shit. I can't ever think of a Jeff Jarrett match and like, oh, that was awesome. I can't think of a Jeff Jarrett moment where I was like, oh, shit. Jeff Jarrett.
What are you talking about? When he laid down. That was the best.
Yeah, you know what?
match
When
ever.
that's your best moment, when that's your most memorable moment in wrestling, you got a problem. Holy
By far his
fucking
biggest
shit.
moment when he laid down in the middle of the ring. What did my man say about him? Broke 100 guitars, never drew a dime.
Holy fucking shit. He made his own fucking company so they could make him champion 900 times.
After the dispute about not seeing anything exciting, because didn't Jeff Jarrett smash Jake the Snake's head in with a real guitar?
That was the
Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, right.
And yeah, there you go. Boom. There's another thing. Motherfucker stole his whole shtick from the Honky Tonk.
Yes.
There you go.
And he didn't even have, I mean, he did have the country. I'm sorry, he didn't have the country singer gimmick. But he didn't even sing the song for real. Wasn't it really
Oh,
Road
yeah.
Dogg?
The Road Dogg was singing the
Are
song.
you forgetting
That part was a shoot. Road Dogg was singing for him.
Are you forgetting about the other thing that he stole? He partially
Oh,
stole
Jeff Kurt Angle's
Ric
wife?
Flair. No, the
he
Ric
used to do
Flair
Ric
walk.
Flair walk. He used to do a little Ric Flair strut.
Oh, I thought you were
He
gonna
did
say.
the Ric Flair.
I thought you were gonna say Kurt Angle's wife.
Oh yeah, he did. He was a slick motherfucker.
Well, that's a sore subject.
Kurt Angle's wife was fucking banging too. Holy
He
shit.
was. Man, I'd have killed him. It couldn't be me. Kurt. No wonder Kurt had all the issues he had. I mean, he already had some of those issues, and that probably led to it. But still, man.
Yeah, I'd say the issues is what kind of drove her to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. But Daytona Falls would have thought that went through my head, but it's like he's not because of what I said about he had such a good character.
Roddy Piper, boring. Probably in the ring. Yeah, I'd say boring in the ring. I'd say he was boring in the ring.
Yeah.
You know what? I would counter that just briefly though. But some of his earlier matches, if you'd watch some of his earlier matches, he had like with Sergeant Slaughter and shit. Like some of those matches were actually really good. I mean, by the time he got to WWF, he was already a very seasoned wrestler at that point, and he had kind of slowed down. So you weren't getting the best of Piper by then.
When he first started Piper's Pit, he was barely wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was just mostly doing Piper's Pit.
He was damn near manager more than a wrestler a lot of that time.
Yeah.
Honestly, what you just said was true about a lot of those wrestlers because they had started. Most of the wrestlers that we saw in WWF in the 80s, they had already started in the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Already been through the territories.
Some of them vigilante in the 60s.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys, I think Tito Santana started like early 70s, 60s. A lot of these guys have been seasoned wrestlers.
I'm surprised no one is going to mention Tito Santana because I knew a lot of people who thought he was boring, but I like Tito Santana.
Yeah, you know what? I enjoyed Pedro Morales more than I enjoyed Tito Santana.
I enjoyed Tito Santana more than Pedro Morales. I found Pedro Morales a bit Pedro Morales was basically the Puerto Rican version of Bruno Sammartino.
Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah.
Wait, the you mean Eddie Guerrero's nephew?
Yeah,
Chavo Guerrero or his dad, his old man dad?
Oh yeah, because I was Chavo Senior. But we
another
didn't really see Chavo
never
Senior in
Hall of
America much.
Famer. He's on my list too of never Hall of Famer.
Chavo Junior.
But yeah,
Rey
that's
Mysterio's son.
that one's
another
mine. Jeff
Oh,
Jarrett.
Dominic. Dominic's not that good. He's wrestling now.
Jeff Jarrett's my next one. That's if anyone has anything to fucking say about that guy.
Yeah, that's on point, man. He was born as shit, man. He was born as an Intercontinental champion. He was born as I don't know how this man got the world belt. You want to talk about somebody who did not deserve the world belt?
Oh, it was one of them where his family was.
Yep.
Yeah,
big.
his dad was the Memphis promoter.
Yep.
Yeah, and he had like brothers and that had been
Yeah,
wrestling.
he
and
does
that,
have some
so,
family and cousins and all that sorts of shit. Like, oh, I didn't know such as like, yeah, he was very clicked up. So he ended up, being a part of wrestling. He's probably one of those guys that's like, and I hate to say it about somebody who's been in the business 20, 30, whatever many years, but like, if it wasn't for his family, he wouldn't even be in wrestling now. Was he that good?
I won't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was a god awful wrestler. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he was boring.
But I mean, he would have just been a guy. You know what I mean? He would have just been like any
mid card for life. Mid Carter for life.
Yes, definitely. He had been on the level of I'm trying to think like I don't know why the name Shane Douglas.
All right, Honky Tonk Man. There you go. He could have been just Honky Tonk.
He could have been Honky Tonk Man, like
the guy he stole his fucking gimmick from. He could have just been
well, no, because like Honky Tonk Man was international. I mean,
Intercontinental champion. Yeah, I don't think he was on Honky Tonk Man's level, honestly. I don't
so was Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett was like 4 or 5 time Intercontinental champion. I don't know how many fucking times.
It was a bunch. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thing. Jeff Jarrett. Tommy.
All right, well, I got a few of them, and actually, Vigilante just kind of hit on one of them. The next up on my list was Shane Douglas. He's another guy. I thought he was mediocre in the ring at best. He had some mic skills, but was I excited to watch him wrestle? No, I was more excited to watch the people that were in his camp wrestling.
Tommy, he's number 2 on my list, actually.
I got people a lot worse. I got people a lot worse in my list than him, and I still got 4 more.
I swear to God, I don't know if I'm the only one who saw this, but when Triple H went from the DX gimmick and turned to the corporation and started his corporate gimmick, it was like he was ripping off Shane Douglas. Yes. Shane Douglas was doing this for years before. Shane Douglas was doing the exact same boring promo style and boring wrestling in the ring and winning every match and having overextended title runs. He was doing the same shit.
Yes, he was. He did steal a lot of that gimmick from Shane Douglas, especially right when he first started. He started cutting these crazy.
That's exactly. That's how I felt anyway. I think I see this on Friday nights. I was looking at this
because that was when around the time they started playing
Clown World. What's up? How you doing?
Regionally, ECW.
What's up,
Clown World.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett was the Triple H of TNA.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, here's a good one. And I agree with.
Clown World. Cody Rhodes is boring. I can't disagree. I like Cody Rhodes, but in ring, man, he's nothing special.
I agree, but I didn't think about him enough to put him on my lists. But
yeah, I wouldn't put him on my list, but that may just be me having a bias. And honestly, I like his recent run, WWE. Where he no, I'm talking about since he's been back and he fucking wrestled that Hell in a Cell with that torn pec. I mean, I can't help but to respect that, man. It is what it is. You just don't see that every day where guys fucking chest is bleeding out or not, whatever it was. It looked terrible. You saw that purple because he had tore his pec. And
I give him credit for that.
I know it's gimmick. I know it's wrestling, but I'm like, man, that was pretty cool. That was pretty snazzy. So I mean,
I give him credit for that.
I give him credit for that. I give him a lot more, maybe more too much. I thought that was pretty cool, especially nowadays. You just don't see that as much.
But
yeah, Cody Rhodes is born in ring.
what else about Shane Douglas, Tommy?
He's another one.
I mean, really, that's about it. Like everything about his gimmick, it was that I'm the rich guy. It's almost like he stole part of Ric Flair's gimmick and then tried to pretend that he was a little bit more classy about it. There was really nothing overly extravagantly drawing you in to watch him perform. I'm sorry, like I was more interested in watching the guys that were working under him in his stable, like Bam Bam Bigelow, or somebody like that wrestling than watching him.
Chris Candido, even.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing really redeeming other than his mic work. That was it. And even that was like it was mediocre at best at times.
Yes. Chris Candido was seen as a joke at that point because he just came from being Skip, and he was fucking way better in the ring than Shane Douglas was.
Well, Chris Candido, what fucked him up was his chick.
Yeah, and the drugs too.
And the drugs too, but you want to talk about what you think was related. If Sunny was your girlfriend with the reputation she had, you would be on drugs too, bro.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
And again, Sunny wouldn't be my girlfriend.
That's true. Most people wouldn't put a ring on it, but he apparently was in love with her, and it's just like, oh.
But I agree with Tommy. Like, if it was the triple threat, I'd rather see Bam Bam or fucking Chris Candido wrestling than Shane Douglas.
And he was the one they talked the most, and he had a crazy long ass run, and it's just like, yeah, he was like, it was Triple H.
I'm telling you, just think about it this way: when do you remember a Shane Douglas promo that didn't start or end with ha 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 ha?
Oh man, yeah. No, I can't say anything.
All right, let's see what DBS has up here. Who do you have up here, DBS?
Disco.
Oh, I fucking agree 100%. I agree 100%. 100%.
Never 100%. Hall of Famer,
Never.
Douchebag.
Never.
Of the year, every year.
Not even interesting in the ring. Like, if you're gonna have the douchebag gimmick like that, it better be good. Like, all right, Alex Wright had a fucking douchey gimmick, but he was good in the ring. This dude had. For as bad as his wrestling actually was in the ring,
he was able to help put people over. And if it wasn't for all the matches that he
true.
had with Alex Wright, would Alex Wright have looked as good as he did?
But I'm talking about Disco Inferno though. Like Disco Inferno.
Right, but I'm saying Disco Inferno was a big part of Alex Wright really getting noticed early on.
Didn't they become a tag team at one point?
They did. They were the Dancing Fools.
There you go.
But you know what? He was one of those guys. They don't really have that now, but they had those mid-card jobber type guys. So for guys on his way up, he beats Disco Inferno. He goes a level up, and he's in the regular mid-card. You know what I mean? So he did serve that purpose, I guess. But yeah, he was not my favorite. I've watched his podcast recently, or in the past couple of years. It Can Be Okay, him and Conan.
He's a Russo guy, right?
Yeah, he is. Yes. Man, Vince Russo. I mean, I'm not counting him or Arquette as wrestlers, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that Shane Douglas was supposed to fucking jump ship with them.
He'd have been the worst of the bunch, man. I'm telling you. Because I talk shit about Malenko because of his character, but
Dean Malenko is a million times better in the ring than Shane fucking Douglas.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Oh man, no, I don't. You know what? Maybe it's the kid in me. I like Glacier. I was a young, fucking Mortal Kombat playing motherfucker. I didn't even play.
The gimmick was cool. The gimmick was cool, and then the bell rings.
He starts doing that goofy shit, just like him. Urs the Cat Miller. They had all these different goofy kung fu, karate gimmicks. Technically, even Goldberg was part of MMA style.
Anyone remember this WCW guy, Jerry Flynn?
I do remember Jerry Flynn.
He wore karate pants and he had a mullet. And he was
not to be confused with Jerry Lynn.
Not Jerry Lynn. Not Jerry Lynn. Jerry Flynn.
Yeah.
DBS.
Yes.
DBS
Disco Inferno.
He didn't. Yeah, Disco Inferno was not very boring.
Every time I'd be watching WCW and this dude come on like, oh, douchebag.
Is he a channel changer for you?
Yes, I'd rather watch commercials
Mm,
and then switch it back.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I was a fan of his either, but I know he was there just to fucking get other people,
Yeah. That's all
over
he was
and
there
just
for.
get squashed by people.
He was
But they did
just-
occasionally give this guy fucking titles.
Yeah, they did. He
I
I
was-
remember.
I was-
Oh my god, that shit was annoying. It was around the time when Raven first went to WCW from ECW, and he started the Flock,
Mhm.
and Saturn just left ECW, and you see he's in the audience as one of the Flock. And Saturn. All right, no joke. Saturn. Me watching Saturn in the ring, even back in the ECW days, I love that fucking guy. Saturn is,
Eliminators, that shit was cool.
Saturn is one of the guys that got me first started watching the ECW, because when I first started watching the ECW, it was a tag team, the Eliminators,
Yeah.
Saturn and Cronus, and
I said the
Sabu.
total eliminator, that was the finisher.
The Eliminators and Sabu is what got me watching ECW.
Sabu
So
was
I'll
crazy.
always hold a special place in my heart for Perry Saturn. Shout out to Perry Saturn.
Shout out to Perry
And
Saturn.
they made Perry Saturn lose a fucking championship belt to this fucking douchebag.
Fuck. You know what? Speaking of ECW, a match you might want to see, isn't it? Mention Sabu. Isn't they have a Sabu and RVD versus the Eliminators match?
Oh, in ECW?
In ECW.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a
I never got to see that whole match. I just used to see it when they would show the clips of the VHS tapes.
I want to see this guy's check stubs. I want to know how much he got paid.
It'd probably make you sick. Especially
You
when
should check out his
WCW tossing money around.
podcast. You should check out his podcast. Yes.
Yeah.
What
Now
the
I
hell
think
was
isn't
Eric
he a
Bischoff
bouncer at a strip
thinking?
club?
Isn't Kate? You said Conan is one of his crew that he does the podcast with?
It's him and Conan, and then they have a producer.
But he was podcasting with Russo, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he still does that. He might still do that because I know Russo does podcasts too. I think Russo has a podcast with Al Snow. All these guys are doing podcasts now, so you gotta check it out.
Yeah, that's true. They all
into
are.
it as I was kind of into it for a little bit, a lot of different podcasts, and I'm like, man, I don't really care.
I disagree with this clown world.
I agree. I like Ernest Miller. I mean, it doesn't hold up due to scrutiny of time, but back then that shit felt cool because MMA hadn't came around and let us know how this shit really works. So for the era, some of that shit could fly.
All right, but then if we have Ernest Miller in there and then they bring in Tank Abbott, come on, we know that Ernest Miller ain't shit when especially when they make Tank Abbott a complete jobber in WCW.
I was just about to say they
Tank
made Tank Abbott a jobber, and he was managing a boy band group.
Oh God,
3
Jesus
counts.
Christ! Why did they even bother bringing that guy in? You know what? This is a name I haven't heard in fucking years. That's another guy. That's another guy.
So
that dude bored me.
He wasn't the best in the ring, but I did like Prince IK. I couldn't say his name. That just shows how cool WCW's mid card was, because they definitely had like levels to the mid card. Like he was never even in the Jericho lane. He was a lower mid card guy. So I mean, a lot of those guys just were there to serve a purpose. He was a lower mid card face to get the heels over in the same.
All right, lower mid card. I'm gonna give a shout out to Cyclope. Anyone remember Cyclope?
Oh yeah, I do remember Cyclope. Yeah, WCW had those cool ass characters, man.
Cyclope was the shit, bro. I mean, his mask was cool.
Had those cool, weird, one-off characters. That's what made them interesting, a little bit more interesting than WWE. Is it on me or is it on Jens? Because I got a name.
Yeah, it's on Jens now.
Okay. Jens?
Jens, you still here?
Uh-oh. Buckingham Palace has gotten him.
Oh, he might be getting a brewski.
Okay. Well, Case, I'll go ahead and take his turn there.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised, and you know what? Maybe I'll get some pushback on this guy. And I mentioned last week being a fan of one of his tag mates. I was a fan of Test. I was not a fan of Albert. I thought Albert was just another guy Never really rooted for. Never rooted against. I mean, I remember he had that. He came back years later as what was his name?
Lord Tensai.
Lord Tensai, and he was a little better in ring at that point, but he just still was just never my cup of tea. Never my cup of tea.
They decided to paint a bunch of Japanese letters all over fucking Prince Albert, and they're like, he's Japanese.
That made no sense to me. I get the whole thing was that he had went to Japan, became a different wrestler, so to speak, but he just still was so boring. He wasn't a channel changing guy. And I like Tess and Albert and Trish Stratus. I like that trio, but I just like
I gotta say, I liked his moves. He had some awesome fucking moves for like a big dude.
He did. He was, he could move for a big guy. He had that little kick, and he had some cool moves.
He had the sit out choke slam, the Baldo
bomb.
Yeah. And I liked using him in games because he always had dope fucking moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I mentioned that about S.A. Rios.
Yeah,
he was cool in games because he had cool moves. So he was okay in ring. He wasn't terrible in ring. He wasn't a channel changer, but he's another guy. Didn't root for, against. At least with Triple H, who gave a number one. I kind of already spoiled that. At least with him, I rooted against. At least I hated him. I just felt nothing about Prince Albert. He just was a kind of a nothing to me. You know what I mean? So I don't. If somebody disagrees, if there's somebody, no, Prince Albert was great, let me know, man. I just saw nothing in him. He just was another stiff. I think even a Bull Buchanan, who was a similar guy, had a little bit more to him than Albert.
See, I give the edge to Albert way over Bull Buchanan.
Yeah.
Bull Buchanan is another one of those big dude wrestlers that I can't remember a move that they did. I can't remember seeing like a move, like a single signature.
Yeah.
Like, all right, when you're a big dude, do moves. Don't just punch and kick and chop people.
Yeah, do some slams.
Fucking boring.
Every big man should have like a choke slam or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, a power bomb, huh?
Power bomb, choke slam.
Wow. See, everyone loves to diss fucking Sid these days. In hindsight, I'm sorry. When I was a kid, everybody fucking loved this guy in WCW or WWF. Everybody loved him. The crowds used to fucking cheer for his ass. You know why? Because he was a fucking big roided out motherfucker that did a power bomb and a choke slam. There you go. Nice and simple.
Well, every other big guy forgot about the other move that was in every single one of their repertoires, and that was the big boot. Every single one of them.
The big boot.
Every big boot would have made equal though, because to me, Tess had the best big boot.
What about the boot choke in the corner?
Yep. Basically, Kevin Nash's boot.
The Kevin Nash boot choke in the corner.
Boot choke in the corner. Sidewalk slam.
Yeah, sidewalk slam is another good. Sidewalk slam is another good one.
Big boot. Yeah. Power bomb. You know what I mean? Every big man had to have those things, or a few of those things. But no, I like Sid. Sid was special, man. Don't let to me, even Kevin Nash and Sid, both those are guys that history wants to make it out like they were never stars and they were just big guys. It's like, no, that's not true.
The clown world remembers Cyclope. Much respect, Cyclope.
Shout out to Cyclope. Shout out to that whole shit, man. I don't have WWE Network or what is that new shit they have now?
They're on fucking Peacock now.
Peacock, yeah.
Whatever. I pirated it. Whatever I watched from them back in the day was all pirated anyway.
Oh, I didn't know you could. You got toss a brother hook out because man, this got me.
No, I mean like when I used to actually watch the good pay-per-views at my friend's house.
Oh,
they all had stolen cable. So.
Yeah. This makes me want to watch some of that old WCW. When there was a time I had WWE Network back in the day, and I used to just go through the Nitros. They were great, man.
I remember actually seeing that pay-per-view live at my friend's house where Jeff Jarrett laid down and Vince Russo was like, bro, Hulk Hogan, you take this belt and call it the Hulk Hogan Memorial Belt, bro. And we're going to crown a new champion like that. I remember actually seeing shit like that. I remember seeing these pay-per-views at my friend's house, and it used to be big deals. And then a bunch of assholes took over. And now I'm sounding like Jim Cornette. Anyway.
Jim Cornette's kind of. I mean, well, he's built this fucking platform off of AEW. Good lord! I remember when Jim Cornette had no subs on YouTube. Now he has like 300,000.
He's a bit annoying. I mean, there's times he's right.
Yeah, he's right about them because they I wish AEW understood what criticism was and didn't just like bitch out to it every single time to the point where
I really can't say I like AEW.
Me neither.
You know what? I've watched a few AEW events. I haven't watched as many as I was kind of hoping to, but I caught a couple with Draven, and you know what? I was not disappointed in what I did see. The few times that I did have a chance to watch it, there were some decent matches in there, and I love the fact that they brought in people like Pentagon Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked him when he was down in Lucha Underground, man.
Yeah.
I loved that guy. He was
great on Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, they brought in some sweet guys and they had some good matches, but honestly, and this is why I don't want to put a lot of people blame CM Punk, which you should because he's a piece of shit. But I think the EVPs held a lot of people down who weren't their friend. That was the rumor that, if you weren't friends with the elite, that you couldn't go far. We were talking about, I think Jens brought up Shawn Michaels back in the day, or like, guys like that. And these guys were, actual vice presidents. So it's not just a guy who has a little bit of
sway
power. It's like, no, these guys actually have a fucking role. You know what I mean?
Imagine if 90s Shawn Michaels had fucking vice president power of the company and he's wrestling.
Or even, as much power as Hogan had. Imagine he was the EVP of WCW. You know what I'm saying? You thought it was bad. You thought what we got when we were just talking about with the fucking laying down, all that crazy shit. You thought that was bad. If he was the EVP, holy shit. So I think they deserve some of the blame for a lot of those guys. Like Pentagon. Pentagon hasn't been world champion. I don't know if he's had a world champion match in AEW. You know what I'm saying?
They also, all right, they're doing this stupid shit where they're defending belts from 400 different other companies.
That too.
Now, so
got the AAA belt, the Impact belt. What the fuck are you doing? Where's your belts?
But then they made 6 other belts, though.
Oh well, now we got the.
See, even though I'm not watching AEW, I'm still on Twitter. Because motherfuckers are still gonna post no matter what goes on Twitter. Even if I'm not watching it, I'm still gonna be scrolling down Twitter. I'll be like, hey, I'll stop and.
To a degree, I could kind of see if you're going to bring in champions from other organizations to kind of have a spot in there and just say that organization agrees to have their belt put on the line there, but it shouldn't be a monthly thing. It should be an event, like maybe once every 6 months.
Yeah,
a once to 6 months to once every year event where somebody from another federation
have
comes
a
in
super
with their
show
belt and they
have
fight.
Have a super show. Have a crossover super show.
Yep, once a year you have New Japan, Impact, all these other companies for 1 year.
A crossover. Have they had a crossover super show? They might as fucking well.
They did one with
Why
New Japan
not?
a few months ago. They did.
Oh, they did.
Okay. It was just them and New Japan.
Okay.
But like they still we're talking about this. They still have done way more defenses. Now they got too many other belts. They got a trios belt plus a tag belt.
Well, they have Ring of Honor too, and there's no Ring of Honor events, but they have Ring of Honor championship matches on their show.
That's crazy. I get that he bought Ring of Honor. He shouldn't have bought it without a TV time.
He shouldn't have. Well, yeah. I don't know what they're going with.
That needs to be his own separate show. You need a Ring of Honor. If you're gonna buy that has to be his own brand, and it has to exist as his own brand. And they can cross over again once a year, but like not every episode. No, that's just not how it works. It has to be his own brand, or it's not gonna work because they already have too many wrestlers. You know what? That's not. Now we're just.
They have so many fucking wrestlers, and they just seem to keep getting more.
Vince McMahon, as evil as he is, he's an evil genius. He literally said this when he was releasing like dozens and dozens of wrestlers. I think that over the course of a year and a half, released like 120 wrestlers and still had 200 wrestlers on their roster as far as WWE is concerned. And don't quote me on these numbers, but there's something in the range of it. But he said, I'm going to give them more people to sign. And they kept signing all those wrestlers that he released, and now they're bloated. Now they have too many wrestlers. They need to release some of those.
They started doing what TNA started doing. It was when TNA started every single released or fired WWF wrestler. They were swooping right up when it was their weekly pay-per-views. If anyone remembers when TNA started, it was legit weekly pay-per-views.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
they weren't that much. Were they like $7 or $8 or $10?
Yeah, I think it was $10. I think it was $10.
Well, I think with Vince McMahon, why he buys so many wrestlers, or don't buy them,
Contracts.
so,
By their
Contracts.
yeah,
he still has 200 wrestlers in the contract.
Yeah. Well, why he gets so many is because I think he knows that he's got the image rights to them and that, and so if any of them become big and that, he's like, oh yeah, well, he wrestled for WWE.
Well, there was people saying that when he first started the Performance Center in Florida and started NXT, and he was signing up every single drop of indie talent that he could find. They were saying it was him trying to crush the indie the whole indie scene. That's what they were saying.
He got a monopoly, didn't he? He just bought everyone out by like getting them not to have any wrestlers, so they'd sell company. But yeah, there is that. But I think and all after doing that, I think he's getting old. So he's like, oh yeah, he's probably seeing WWE in the future to have like all these wrestlers. So if they do any computer game, they've got loads of wrestlers to put in. Or if they do any sort
or
of
also like injuries too, you know.
That's another thing.
There's injuries. It's just like any regular sport. Just like any regular sport, where if there's injuries to somebody, you need a backup, right?
Yeah. But I think he still had too many because there'd be people, wrestlers that weren't even wrestling because there's like.
Well, look at how many people are. If you go to Wikipedia and look at their roster, on either of their fucking shows, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people there you don't see on Raw or SmackDown on a regular basis.
Well, thinking started fucking buying women wrestlers or contracting women wrestlers. So
many fucking women wrestlers.
Yeah, no, that's where you're like just making your product shit. If it's
so many
physical.
fucking women wrestlers. Holy shit!
They got a lot of women wrestlers, especially in NXT. And then even in both these rosters, they got a lot. And you're right. There's so many wrestlers you don't see week to week. I've heard they call the catering all-stars.
Yeah, I remember hearing on podcasts they're like, "Oh, you're just sitting there and catering," when they're talking about a guy who hasn't been on fucking screen in fucking 4 weeks.
He's in catering, or he's on those B shows. What was it, Main Event and the other show they got?
Velocity. Remember Velocity?
Yeah.
Jack.
Shotgun Saturday Night.
Shotgun Saturday Night Metal.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Heat.
And I think why they bought contracted so many wrestlers is because they don't really know what is going to be big or out, and so they're just throwing shit, like to see what.
Throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah. And they've always sort of like done that in the past.
Yeah. Oh,
I think you're right.
There's a rich history of them doing that.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, for whatever it's worth, you don't have to pay wrestlers insurance. The WWE is good at having their own medical staff, tend to their injuries and shit like that. But that's different than paying somebody insurance. So, I mean, you give them whatever their little salary is. They sit and cater until you need them. You know what I mean? It sounds fucked up for their life. But, I mean, hey, they make $100,000 to eat sandwiches and train. I mean, it's worse lives than that. So, it is what it is. It's too many wrestlers in the company.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking about two wrestlers. Shall we get back to
Oh, yes, your
It was your turn. Yeah.
There we go, then. Yeah. Here's one. Virgil,
I agree.
Oh yeah. You guys are
Get-
coming with the
all right,
heat.
give me a
Yeah.
second. Go into your Virgil rant. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Well, no, the thing with Virgil,
I'll be right back.
yeah, the thing with Virgil was he wasn't all that good at wrestling, but he was real good at being a sort of like even though he wasn't the $1 Million Man's manager, he was more of his sort of like
It's muscle.
his muscle sort of thing. So he
Yeah.
played the interference sort of member that will interfere, and that he played that really good. But it was mainly just like a minute at the end of the match usually. But when it came to like doing 10 minutes, he just didn't have the ability, and yeah, he didn't have much of a gimmick neither. Because
No.
He was a goon. We're
He was a
still
goon,
going on
yeah.
about Virgil. He was a
Yeah.
goon. Well,
He
he
tried
was.
to come up with the right
Right.
word for it because he wasn't a manager.
He had a couple year span where he was wearing the candy striped pants and not a goon, but he was just a jobber.
He's a jobber thing. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think he was the most experienced wrestler, which is why they had him with the $1 Million Man. And so it's
Do
like,
you
okay.
know? Do you
come
know
in
that
for the-
do you know that I actually met Virgil and I shook
he's
his
a
hand?
handful.
I shook his hand and he didn't charge me fucking $20 to shake his
Oh,
hand.
word. Because I heard he would.
But
So
he
maybe-
tried to get me to pay $18 for an autograph on a picture of a bunch of old school, like it was like an old school picture with the roster on it. He wasn't on the fucking picture. Yeah, no joke. I'm on my way home from work and I'm walking through Grand Central Station to get to my train, and I see him talking to somebody on the side, and I looked at like, holy shit, Virgil, because he still looks the same. His face still looks the same. I don't know if he's roided out anymore. But his face still looks the same. And then he stopped me. She shook my hand. I was like, and he's like, oh yeah, I have these pictures there. I was like, you know what? I don't have change. I'll come back. And I walked away. And I walked straight to my train. I was like, fuck that. I'm not paying this guy $18 for a fucking photograph when I could get.
You know what though? All right, let's put it in this perspective. You were willing to shake his hand, and if you were given the opportunity of buying a Virgil picture or a Bastion Booger picture, which one are you going to choose?
That's another guy I probably should be on this list. I'll probably take Virgil over Bastion Booger, man. I can't do it with him. They both were jobbers, Jobberville. No, what'd you say? Not Hall of Famers? No Hall of Famers?
Hall of Famers?
Never in the Hall of Fame.
DBS is Virgil in the not Hall of Fame?
Yes.
No, I think he is. No, I think he got in through $1 Million Man.
He might
No,
have.
Virgil's not in the Hall. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Thank
Virgil's
goodness.
not in the Hall of Fame.
Will never
I'm
be in
sure
the Hall
he
of
did.
Fame.
He's not in their Hall of Fame. He's not.
I would. Who
All
knows?
right.
Because there's some jobbers in that Hall of Fame. They put some job. I think the Brooklyn Brawler might have snuck in.
I'm surprised he made it to WCW. Like they had him on there
Vincent?
too.
Yeah,
Virgil.
he was Vincent. No, he's
Yeah,
Virgil,
Vincent.
but they named him Vincent.
All right. Also, can we also squash this Hall of Fame talk, because Coco fucking Beware was
Told you.
one of their first Hall of Famers. I'm not
Told
kidding
you.
you.
Yeah, I believe it.
The
There's some
very
jobbers
first,
in that Hall
the
of Fame.
very first one was Andre the Giant, and it was all by himself in
Okay.
Vince's Hall of Fame. And then the next year, I think they did, for some reason.
Well, how much did he pay? I mean, in Hollywood, they have the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
They don't just give them to people. They
Don't
got to
get
pay
me
for
wrong,
that
I
shit.
liked Coco Beware, but I wouldn't say he's a fucking Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
What's up, Darius?
Hey,
Oh shit,
Yeah.
Darius,
there he is.
how you doing, man?
Hey,
I think Coco Beware got him from the parrot though, because
yeah, everybody remember that parrot and shit.
yeah.
That's why I said Virgil might be in there. If Coco Beware's in there, why not Virgil? But
Yeah. Well,
Exactly what I'm saying. Anyone can be in the fight.
I would have liked to seen someone drop kick the parrot off his shoulder.
Oh shit! I don't think animal rights would have allowed that unless it was a fake parrot.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
used to feel bad for that fucking parrot.
Yeah.
Hey, hi Tim. Tim Possible, what's up?
A10 possible.
What's up, Tim?
You could share if you
Hey,
could
there.
share my picture slasher. I have when you guys were talking about the female wrestlers. I have one for you. Worst female wrestler
Yeah.
ever.
Oh
Can't
no,
even
is this who I think it is? Oh,
Who?
this is who I think it is.
Nicole
Good
Bass.
God, good God,
Oh no!
good
All
God.
the hot female wrestlers you could have picked, and you show this one.
And
All
her
right.
only
Also,
move.
I don't even remember her having a match. I remember her being a more roided out China.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
right,
well-
just a
at
goat.
least China had matches. I remember her just being like someone who interfered in a match.
Yep.
Did she
She was just a
actually
goat.
wrestle?
Well,
She,
yeah,
her
I
only
think
move.
she
I
think
said
she
her,
did
yeah, her
wrestle.
only move was the choke slam, and she didn't do it right. She never did it right. And then she
No,
tried
but
to sue Vince McMahon for
she did
harassing.
wrestle.
Yeah,
I think
go
she
ahead.
did wrestle.
Darius allegedly.
But I
Yes.
think she did wrestle, but she wrestled when she had a penis.
Also,
No,
let's
honestly, no,
let's
seriously. It
let's
came
not-
out, didn't it?
let's not speak ill of the dead now.
Well,
she
all
dead?
I'm s-
I didn't know she was dead. I mean, not shot, but on the
Yeah,
steroids.
she's dead.
Sheesh.
She dead. She used to come on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
where
she
she started, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
she would tell her stories about guys would pay her, like she'd beat up dudes, and
Mhm.
the guys would pay her for that,
Oh fuck.
like humiliation or whatever.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Ah fuck.
I think she used to be a dude.
And then towards the end,
The face does not fucking deny that. I'm sorry.
No,
I
Yeah.
thought-
true.
towards the end, she would tell Howard Stern that she discovered anal and how much she loved it.
Oof.
All right,
'Cause I think she was a dude.
let's just get that fucking
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh no.
There you go.
No.
Look at Nick Nolte in drag on steroids.
Nick Nolte was never built like that. Sheesh.
Nicole
What is
Bass.
going on? I had heard
Never.
that she was a woman, but just basically took enough to damn near transition. You take all those fucking
No.
steroids, and you start looking like a man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I tell you what, Jens, I'd be worried for you if she would have walked up to you back in the day. I think she would have took you.
right?
Well-
she's like 250, man. She's
Yeah,
not a
with
small girl.
A chokehold from that thing would put someone
Yeah.
out.
No,
Rear-
'cause she's-
a rear naked choke. Yeah.
No, because she's a woman, remember, and so being a woman.
You said she's not. You said she had a dick.
Well,
Maybe she.
well,
she
oh
was-
yeah. I thought like Tommy was thinking she was still a woman. Yeah, but that's a dude, then, isn't it?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not misgendering that person.
R.I.P. Nicole Bass. No slander.
R.I.P. Yeah, I don't want to speak ill of the dead.
All right,
I couldn't tell.
DBS has had another one sitting here for a minute. So
The king of mediocre, Shawn Michaels.
No, I'm a Shawn Michaels fan.
I am not.
Yeah,
guys
no.
can't tell me-
You're full of shit. Because Shawn Michaels jumped off a few ladders, so you
You
can't
can't
call
tell
him
me-
boring.
No. I'm
That this
not. I'm
guy-
not.
but
I'm not saying-
listen. You guys can't tell me this guy was equal to Bret the Hitman Hart. They were equally matched. No, that's bullshit.
I like
I thought Bret Hart.
more.
I like Bret Hart better. I actually
I
thought
do
Bret Hart
too.
was better too.
No, Shawn Michaels is good. Shawn
I'm
Michaels.
not saying he's not good. I will say he is overrated in WWE.
Overrated.
Lore.
No, I disagree.
Overrated is Shawn, especially his
Gene-
run. To me, his best run is when he came back in the 2000s.
I think you've got a better case for his tag partner, Gene.
Marty Jannetty.
Marty
Marty
Jannetty.
Jannetty. Yeah, not Gene Benetti. Marty
Marty
Jannetty.
All right, DBS.
Man.
Yes.
And R.I.P. Aaron Carter. I did hear about that.
DBS. You got to remember when Shawn Michaels was part of the Rockers.
Yes. I
All
remember
right.
when he
Is
beat up
Marty
his partner.
Jannetty? Yeah, when he put Marty Jannetty's head through the barbershop window, right?
was-
Yes, that was cool.
Okay. Is Marty Jannetty a never Hall of Famer?
Yes, he's also in the Never Hall of Famer group.
Never ever.
You know who else should be there? Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Ooh, good call. Good call. Should never be in the
Agree.
Hall of Fame.
Agree.
Great
I mean,
call.
look,
I
like
don't know.
Slapper,
Brutus
Slapper,
had
like
his.
hey
Yeah,
Slapper, like if you were a kid, right, and I took you to Walmart or Target and took you to the toy aisle, and I tell you go pick a wrestler, a figure, action figure, would you pick Shawn Michael?
Nah.
yeah.
You know what?
No.
And Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
If it was like a tag team of him and Marty Jannetty,
How about
I
that?
would pick it up. If
Okay,
it was
by
like old
himself.
school, nah.
Yeah,
Maybe if it was on sale.
clearing cost.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake figures sold loads because it had them shears usually.
Yeah,
I think
Shawn
kids kind of like
Michaels,
that shit back in the
gay
day.
man's fantasy,
mm,
king of mediocre, overrated, number one overrated. They
I
spent too much
disagree.
money on this guy.
No,
But
he's better than fucking oh, what's he called? Fuck, the one with the thingy mask. Little dude.
Rey Mysterio?
Yeah, better than Rey Mysterio, and he's your
I
favorite.
I disagree.
Can you boot him now? Just kick him right off.
I actually do like Shawn Michaels better than Rey Mysterio, but I like both of them
Nah,
a
I
lot.
think I like Rey Mysterio better than Shawn Michaels.
Really? Man, I'm not used to the Shawn Michaels hate.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
no, I don't hate Shawn Michaels. I just think that all right. Shawn Michaels was also at a point where McMahon was going through the steroid trial.
True.
He couldn't have giant fucking beasts, giant roid monsters that look like Conan the Barbarian all over his screen.
True.
So he had guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. He had them there to carry the load while he was sorting out his roid consequences.
True. This is all true. This is all documented.
That's why Shawn Michaels got his push. That's exactly why Shawn Michaels got his push.
That's not the only reason if you believe certain
Oh yeah, if you hear that, backstage, I meet you backstage. Yeah.
So there's
And I hope I hope there's a dark side of the ring of Shawn Michaels to see his
I
the shit
think
that he
the
did.
powers that be will do everything to crush that. But I would love to see that because I've heard some rumors.
Well, there's no more dark side of the ring. They changed the show.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's now Tales from the Territories.
Oh, they could have kept the dark side of the ring. That's a goofy name.
But there's a lot of show.
It's not the same as Dark Side of the Ring. It's a different show. They get a bunch of people from the old school territories. They sit them in a round table and they all talk about that shit.
Oh, jeez, that's okay. I mean, that's okay.
No,
it's cool.
good. It's good. It's good if you want to look up old school shit.
Yeah, I guess that's cool. I do like my old school stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of shoot interviews and all. Tell stories. Yeah, because apparently, Shawn Michaels started mouthing off in some club and tried to.
Syracuse, yep.
They played this into the fucking storyline on the show.
I don't know, but he tried to chat up some woman who was like a bride or whatever, and so a bloke who was an army dude started beating the crap out of him. But
him and a bunch of other people stomped his ass out in the parking lot.
A bunch of wrestlers did nothing. I think it was 1, 2, 3 Kid and
British Bulldog and 1, 2, 3 Kid.
They did nothing. They let them get stumped out. They just sat there and watched.
No, apparently though.
One of them tried to get out the car and they got hemmed up, and that was pretty much it.
British Bulldog, yeah, he got beat up bad, but apparently, but apparently, Shawn Michaels wanted being up because it was on. I forget his name, but
Continental belt off him because he had a concussion. For real,
he dropped his belt because of that.
You know who he lost it to, by the way? Aforementioned Shane Douglas as Dean Douglas.
Yeah, but it might have been through something else.
Yeah, he didn't even wrestle him though. He gave up the Intercontinental belt. He had forfeited.
Yep.
And then they made Dean Douglas fight Razor Ramon, and Razor Ramon won the belt from him right away.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah, that did happen. Here's what I will say. I do agree that first championship, 96, Shawn Michaels was a little overrated, even though he had cool matches with Mankind and shit. And a lot of people hate the Iron Man match because it does start slow. I like that.
Sweet roid music.
That's another thing. Ironically enough, while Vince McMahon was trying to go away from the steroid guy, I heard the rumor that both Shawn and Britt had a little would use a little steroids from time to time. Clearly not as much as an Ultimate Warrior, but
I thought Bret Hart actually admitted to
he did admit to it. Yeah, I think Shawn did, but that was the rumor that he was on it too. So a lot of those guys still were trying to cheat the system, so to speak, because it was still, it was still the era that when people still like those bigger bodies, and even if they weren't the tallest guys, they were still in really good shape.
But I could. But going back to what DBS was saying is like, you at least would you actually agree with that though?
That era was overrated, yeah. That '90s era, but I got to give him a lot of credit for when he came.
No,
back.
I mean that. All right, DBS is actually muted. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
I was just saying that like he had to move away from the Macho Man's, Ultimate Warriors, and Hogan's of the world. Be like, hey, I'm not a roid pusher, right?
Yeah, it did have to I think
Change
fanning that
like
shit, didn't
like
he?
an image change. He needed
Yeah.
a drastic image change. But then yet you know what though? Now I'm thinking about it.
Didn't really
Then
want
this
to.
motherfucker. But then now that I'm thinking about it, I could be wrong because motherfucker brings in Lex Luger of all
Just
people a
about to
couple
say
years
that.
later. Now I'm
Yeah,
thinking
but
about it. I could be wrong because Lex
no,
Luger, all natural Lex Luger. All right,
no.
I think I might be wrong.
No. I think you're right. He did start fanning and sacking people and that to give the image that I think it was one of them where if you got caught using steroids, Vince McMahon would come at you throw the book at you. But if you didn't get caught, then it was like, yeah, you're all right. Because I think most of them got caught because there was some kind of fucking dude that was supplying Ultimate Warrior and the British Bulldog and all that.
Ultimate Warrior and British Bulldog got fired at the same time in '92.
Yeah. Because they got caught by some fucking sting operation, I think.
It was Ultimate Warrior's second run with the company.
I do think you're right where Vince had it. Like he still really would push guys who were on as long as he didn't know about it, you didn't get caught. And that was his big thing.
Yeah, but looking at Lex Luger himself, that's not a red flag though. Just looking at Lex Luger, that's not
No, because you can get naturally built like that. But
Lex Luger, bro.
Yeah,
Lex Luger.
You can be that big,
Lex
but you're
Luger,
not going to be that cut. That's
Lex
what it
Luger,
is.
Lex Luger has
you
admitted.
can.
Lex Luger has admitted. He's admitted it. Jens.
Yeah.
Admitted it.
Yeah, but that's because he's Lex Luger and can't be asked to do the fucking. But you can get as big as that by doing it naturally and that. But it takes longer and it's more harder.
A lot longer.
Yeah,
there's some guys that naturally, got that big over the course of 10, 15. You go to a regular gym, there's bigger guys than him, but they're not going to be diced up where you see their abs and all that other shit. And
no, but you can get it because it just means that you got to have a really sort of balanced diet and do a lot of training. And that's when most people go for the roids because you don't have to do as much training and you don't have to eat as much.
Yeah, I don't want to totally dispute it because I've seen you look at pictures of the really old 1920 style bodybuilders. A lot of those guys were pretty big, and there's steroids doesn't exist at that point, so there is something to it. It's just when you look at Lex Luger, I don't see that. He had the veins and everything. It's just too much.
Speaking of Lex Luger, would anyone say that Lex Luger was a boring wrestler? I don't think he was. I know some people think he was.
I was about to say no. He was kind of cool. When he was really cool was '90s WCW.
Yeah, I liked his '90s WCW run.
I mean, people remember the Lex Express and all that other shit. But the 90s WCW run, like late, like I want to say 96, 97, that
No,
was pretty cool.
I
Even
liked
the
his
Wolfpack.
I liked his early before he went to WWF. I liked him in WCW.
Okay. Talking about the first time.
Yeah.
When he was because he was in NWA, wasn't he? And then just,
Yeah.
as his transition.
Yep.
So yeah. But no, I wouldn't consider. I mean, he definitely had boring stretches, but I just think he was always a cool character. And he
I don't
was
think
always
Tommy
a
liked
leadership
him.
character.
I don't think Tommy liked him. Tommy,
Tommy,
did you
what-
like Lex Luger?
Not really.
Even his I know you saw the NWA days, the NWA WCW days, right?
You know,
With the
I always
sky-
felt
with
that.
the
I always felt
skyscrapers.
he was underwhelming. I mean, you could say what you want. I mean, he could do some moves. He could work in the ring, but he was not exciting. If he was exciting to the fans when he went to WWF, he would have drew a lot more than he did. All the pushing that Vince did with this guy, all the money he wasted with the Lex Express and this, that, and the other thing. Where did it go? It went absolutely nowhere. Why? Because Lex Luger was boring.
Well, all right. I could say this though. When they first brought him into WWF, they didn't do the Lex Express shit when he was the narcissist.
Yeah.
I think that might have hurt his fucking his initial fucking run there.
Yeah, he went like a year as the narcissist.
That
didn't he?
narcissist shit was fucking stupid. And they
They
weren't
brought
even
Mirrors
calling
out?
him Lex. I remember there were parts where they weren't
I
even-
would say absolutely not, because look what happened with Glenn Jacobs when they started him off as Isaac Yankem DDS, and he suffered in the roster for a long time until they wound up giving him the Kane gimmick, and then he took off.
Well,
But that's the difference, though. He also was not Lex Luger, like you know.
And Kane
like,
had a mask, so like if you know, back in
Yeah.
those days, you had to find out that he was that was Glenn Jacobs and that was DDS. Some people knew. I mean, my stepdad knew off rip. Oh yeah, it's DDS.
Fake
I'm
Diesel.
like, how did you know?
He was also Fake Diesel.
Fake Diesel, yeah. I'm like,
well,
how could you tell that's Isaac Jacob DDS? He could just tell. I guess some of the moves set. So I mean, some people knew, but back then you really had to look. It wasn't as immediate as Lex Luger. I just saw him last year coming out with mirrors, and now he's All-American Lex Luger slamming Yokozuna. It's like, okay.
And it's like a week later gimmick change. It's
Yeah.
like a week
Well,
later.
a month, but
Well,
something like that.
yeah, well, Lex Luger though, he wasn't any good at wrestling because he was sort of chosen because he looked like quite.
Yeah, he was just like the Road
Big.
Warriors. He was chosen for their look.
Yeah. I think Vince McMahon wanted
So a lot of guys back in the day, you could see they were chosen for their look.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you look down the list of other wrestlers where it's been the exact same thing, where you can make that argument for Lex, you can actually make the argument in the opposite direction. Look at Steve Austin, stunning Steve Austin, went absolutely nowhere with that gimmick. It wasn't until even when they brought him in as the ringmaster, ringmaster failed. It failed horribly. It wasn't until he became Stone Cold Steve Austin that his character actually took off. And how much of a difference was the look? There was hardly any change in the look. I mean, you can go right down a big long list of people like that.
The long blonde hair as opposed to the
I'm saying from the ringmaster.
Yeah, no,
there was almost no change.
He had the same trunks. Everything was the same.
Yep.
It was literally everything was the same except that he started talking, cutting his own promos. That was the real difference. When he started cutting his promos, like, oh shit.
Well, apparently it was because Triple H broke kayfabe sort of thing, which is, for anyone who don't know, is pretending that it's real. And so to get
the curtain call when they did the curtain call.
Yeah. And so to get punished, Triple H, because he was going to win King of the Ring. I will say where I remember, but King of the Ring, and because Triple H got punished by not winning anything and having to get beat by loads of big wrestlers. Austin got it. And then apparently Austin there's a few interviews where he said the speech he gave about the 316 and that, because he beat Jake the Snake
Mhm.
and that yeah, it was sort of like
Off
spare
the
of the
cuff.
moment
It
thing.
was
Yeah,
off the cuff.
yeah, because like he didn't even know sort of like what he was going to say, because I think it was a few days he'd known he was going to win it, and so he didn't really.
Didn't prep. He probably
Yeah.
didn't have much time because the curtain
No.
call. What was it? Probably maybe a month before, and he probably didn't make the decision until like a couple weeks. Take some time. He probably didn't know until like a week before, a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then came up with that awesome 316, and they started putting that on
Also,
shirts.
also it was around the time Ted DiBiase left the company, so they could cut him away as the manager.
Yeah. Fun fact about Stone Cold: the oldest possession I have is a Austin 316 keychain I got in 1998 when I was in middle school. I still have and use this keychain. It just somehow has survived 20 plus years of having this fucking keychain that I hold my keys in. So
I thought you were gonna say you had one of the 316 T-shirts.
Yeah.
I wish I still have one. I think I used to have one of
funny
them.
thing, I still have one. It's kind of tattered in pieces, but I still have one sitting in my closet.
Yeah, the original one.
With skulls,
Yeah.
I feel like, but I did not have an Austin 316.
But well, apparently with that T-shirt, see, obviously he was saying that was his first T-shirt he'd ever got, because.
Oh yeah, because
The one-
WCW
yeah.
never had T-shirts.
They didn't have merch
I
at
wouldn't
all.
say
But-
they had
but
Hollywood
no.
Blondes T-shirts.
Yeah. No, they had T-shirts and that, but they'd only do them for certain wrestlers they think would sell, and because like Steve Austin wasn't that big until that sort of King of the Ring sort of thing, and he did that 316 sort of speech. That's when he got a T-shirt, and apparently it was like the best-selling T-shirt.
It probably
Might
still
still-
is. I'd say if not that, any
Maybe the
Hulkamania.
Yeah. There's a few others, but yeah, that's got to be one of the biggest selling T-shirts of all time.
But
Still is. It's one they still sell. Maybe NWO. There's some other ones, but yeah, they still sell it. You can still get, the modern logo on the back.
I think.
Scratch logo.
Yeah, I think it was the biggest selling T-shirt for that year.
Yeah, definitely.
all right, DBS. Before I show your opinion, just keep the picture up there.
Okay.
I'll throw one out here. Randy Orton.
Oh, I like Randy Orton.
I'm
But-
gonna give Randy Orton a thumbs up. I'm
Yeah.
okay with him. Yeah,
I like him too, but I get where you're coming from at the same time. He's one of those guys who does have some.
He's just a pube hair above being okay, accepted. It's just that fine line where he's, where he sucks, mediocre, overrated. But I'm gonna say okay, he deserves, the fame, and the money.
I respect this pick, even if I disagree.
I first started seeing him when he used to do like cross bodies off the top rope, and he was wearing those like Adidas stripe. He had Speedos with like some Adidas stripe on it, and they even had him in one of the old school SmackDown games in that gear.
Mhm.
I remember being bored. And then he changes his style and he gets injured a couple times and he comes back. And I remember being bored. And then I remember he starts talking more on the mic. And I remember being bored.
Man, he's not to me great on the mic.
And it's been
Randy
like
Orton paid his dues.
and it turned into 20-something years.
You know what
paid
Randy
his
Orton
dues.
has? Go ahead.
He got hurt. I'm gonna say okay. Thumbs up for Randy Orton.
Randy Orton is somebody who has charisma. Like, he's not great on the mic. He's not really. He's boring in ring, but there's something cool about him.
So fucking boring in the ring. Holy shit, his matches are boring as fuck.
And I mean, another guy who probably should be on this list, I think about John Cena, and I think about some of their terrible matches.
I honestly disagree with Cena being boring in the ring.
He's had good matches too. But I'm just thinking about.
I wouldn't put Cena as a boring in the ring character.
I
I would say stale character, yes,
Stale.
but I wouldn't say boring in the ring.
He's
I
had good
would.
matches, but he's also had some boring ones. And I'm thinking about him and Randy Orton. I think they had like 150, 200
Oh,
matches,
holy
something like
fucking!
that.
Between
I-
those two and Batista, how
I
many
think
fucking matches did they fucking have?
maybe 300, but if you count all of them between them, probably 400 or 500. I'm not exaggerating. You can look it up. I know between Orton and Cena, both of them have, I want to say, at least 150, 200 matches, and most of them are just mediocre at best.
All right, and also part of what I have to say about Randy Orton is the only reason he got his fucking push was because Brock and Goldberg left after that same WrestleMania, and they were like, "Holy shit, we got to bring up our OVW guys," and you know, we now those OVW guys we brought up, we got to push those guys to the fucking moon, which happened to be Cena, Batista, Orton, and Shelton
Well,
Benjamin, Benjamin too, but they didn't really care about Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah,
well,
he
you
was
know,
a
you know,
tag
a
team
funny
guy.
thing is, we were talking about that over on Clown World Reviews channel one time too. Batista wasn't even supposed to be there for that whole thing with Evolution and all that stuff, where he got that big push.
Yeah.
It was
Who was
supposed to be like Jindrak, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
See, I think the last time we were talking about this, I thought that I remember thinking that it was Jindrak instead of Orton. I thought that Batista was always supposed to be in there.
No, Batista wasn't. It was supposed to be Jindrak in his place.
Well, I'll say this to Orton. He could be better, but he's more looking after his body. He's one of them wrestlers that is not gonna like
Well,
cripple himself.
He has
for
gotten
a
hurt a
fucking-
lot. He's got hurt a lot.
Yeah, but so he's calming it down. He's not one of them who's gonna like be in a wheelchair for like fucking most of his sort of adolescent life, sort of thing.
He injured himself like preparing to RKO someone. I remember when he does that stupid punching the ground thing, and he fucked up his wrist.
Oh yeah. Well, as I say, I think he's one of these wrestlers who isn't good away, and so he's not used to like getting big sort of bumps. He's more into like doing a bit of like wrestling and not doing much big bumps.
I also say that he's another guy who grabs the microphone for 20 minutes like Triple H used to do back in the day and says nothing.
Yeah, he ain't too bad though on the mic. I won't say he's shit, but I think though he's one of them because he knows that he ain't gonna take them big bumps or do them sort of high risk maneuvers much. That he ain't gonna get pushed to the top.
Yeah, when I holy shit, I think it was SmackDown. It was like 2002 on SmackDown.
Mm.
There's like a tag team match, a random tag team match. Him and Mark Henry versus I can't even remember. And this motherfucker was doing cross bodies off the top rope like he's Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah, I think I know. Randy Orton, he didn't fit into the sort of group of the
Well,
wrestlers.
he was also there's also a lot of backstage issues when it comes to Randy Orton through the years. A lot of well documented backstage Randy Orton issues.
Right.
You know, we have the internet these days, so
Yeah. But I don't think Randy Orton's.
Well,
Well,
what was the
so-
big controversy on
so
Randy
opinion.
Orton? What did he do? What, like, can you name one thing he did?
There was drugs issue. There was drug issues. There was him shitting in some girl's bag.
Yeah, that's the thing I heard.
Backstage.
But I heard it wasn't actually shit. And it was lotion. Like he poured a bunch of lotion and shit in her bag.
Yeah,
But
I heard it was
everyone,
actually. I heard shit.
well, I don't know, but
Well, he
he
did
fucked
look
with
like
some
a
girls,
drug
man.
addict. You're right.
And he did have some drug issues in the 2000s.
Then again, he's a wrestler, so it's not really.
That's also true.
It's if you could get away with it.
Well,
If you do your
that was
drugs,
the,
you got to get away with it.
that was the era where they were starting to crack down, though, because it was like,
Yeah.
okay, Chris Benoit, just Chris Benoit.
Yeah,
Eddie Guerrero passed.
he just
All
Chris
these older
Benoit.
wrestlers are dying. It's time to actually no,
When
we are drug testing you now because we
when
can't.
Randy Orton passes away, then we could see the documentary, like the Dark Side of the Ring or whatever version, whatever
Mhm.
we could see what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
I'll probably shoot interviews. I'd give it an idea.
But
But
yeah, that's my next one anyway. Who's next down the line for
Man, I still got 4 people to talk about.
yeah, well,
Yeah, so
well,
throw
we'll go until
one out there, Tommy.
Throw one, or should I throw all 4 at this point? Because you're like an hour and 45 in. How long?
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay. I don't know who's going to disagree with this one, but I would say next up would be Tatanka. I was never overly impressed with him. Don't get me wrong, he had a great ring presence going to the ring, but in ring, it was lackluster. He had the big chop, and that was it. Really,
Yeah,
he did a little war dance, a chop, and that was all he really had.
Yeah, he had that Samoan drop off like he whipped the guy off the ropes and do a
Yeah.
Samoan drop. You know what? I think you just schooled me, Tommy, because I think I'd rather watch a Randy Orton match than a Tatanka match. I remember they tried to make Tatanka edgy, and he turned on Lex Luger and joined the $1 Million Corporation,
That
and it
was
was still
terrible.
just it was just same old shit, boring in the ring Tatanka. Yeah,
You
you're
know
right.
what? And
Exposed him
here's
to
the
me.
thing. Here's the thing. Like you can look back and the only reason that he lasted as long as he did in WWF at the time when it was still that is because of the gimmick that he was Native American. And there was plenty of Native American wrestlers in the past that did it better. Now, granted, were
Chief
they
Jay Strongbow?
flashy? Yeah, Chief Jay Strongbow was one of them. That was a solid worker right there. He wasn't extraordinarily flashy, but he can have a good match with anybody. Tatanka couldn't.
Yeah, he was boring too, and he was another roided out guy. And he had a cool look, or if you have a cool look, you better back it up. I'm sorry, that red mohawk mullet was, for the time, was cool looking.
Yeah, but yeah, Tatanka wasn't that good. That's a good one, man.
What's up,
And
Shifty?
that just gave me one.
Wait, Tatanka was a natural born killer? I didn't know that either.
Another never Hall of Famer, huh?
Tatanka? Yeah, you should throw him on the list.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Tatanka was kind of shit. Never
Smoke
nothing interesting.
Smoke him as many peace pipes as you want. Never make it to Hall of Fame.
Oh man.
I also remember they built him up too,
he had an undefeated streak.
Yeah, for 4 or 5 months.
It was longer than that.
Oh God, here we go. Oh my God, all right. Now I'm adding one to my own list now because this
I just
motherfucker
got a
was
couple names.
the guy who beat him. The guy who beat him is on his undefeated streak was even worse than Tatanka. Fucking Ludwig Borga. That fucking guy. That fucking guy. That guy was worse. That guy made Tatanka look like a fucking master.
Well, I tell you what. If I made you all think with that one, I've got a few more in this freaking little list that might actually really get you thinking.
Yeah, when you said Tatanka, I'm like, I'm gonna hit him with Ludwig Borga when I come around. Yeah, I was.
Do you remember that guy, Tommy? That fucking
guy with
vaguely. That guy was like a flash in the pan.
Yeah, he wasn't there very long.
And he beefed with Lex Luger, and it was it the Survivor Series that year. That was it.
Ludwig Borga, I think he had not even a year. Was it a year? Maybe
6 months, maybe a year. I just remember him. He was around for that Survivor Series era, and that was it.
But who are you gonna say, Vigilante? You said you had another one from that era.
Man, I'm surprised he wasn't mentioned unless he was mentioned before I got in. Ahmed Johnson, man. That guy, I don't know. Maybe he was so ridiculous with his moves, he wasn't boring, and that's not quite as the same as bad because he would do like weird. He did this little kick and shit, and that
Yeah,
he was
he had the Pearl River
Pearl
plunge.
River Plunge was kind of a cool finish. He had some cool moves that he would do sloppily, but
That wasn't why he was paid so much attention. It was because of his look. That guy did have a
it's
amazing
huge.
look.
Yeah, he did have a good
He was
look.
like 6'4", like 260, 270.
I mean, his weird stripper pants, that shit he had on his legs was weird.
Yeah, so he was another one. Like, okay, you took Ludwig Borga. I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay,
with that
I
guy.
think I would have rather watched an Ahmed Johnson match than a Ludwig Borga match.
Yeah, because at least Ahmed Johnson, I guess I don't know if he belongs because he's not really boring. He's just bad. You know what I mean?
You know what I remember? I remember Ludwig Borga punching people. I don't. Going back to like, if you're a big guy, can you do something? I just remember him punching people.
You know what? A little guy before he became famous, he did something called the heart punch. And you know what? I would say that
Undertaker?
punching move, yeah, when he was still Mean Mark Callis, that was more interesting than a lot of what these other guys were doing, including one of the next people that's going to be on my list.
I got you. But all right, DBS has one up here. I don't know if I could agree with this.
Okay. La Parka.
Oh, no.
Every
I like
time
LaParca.
was he a good wrestler in your opinion?
Not really, no. But he
No.
was not boring though, because he would
I
hit people with
wouldn't know.
hit people with chairs. Most of his
I-
gimmick was hitting people with chairs.
I wouldn't know if he was a good wrestler because every time he came on, I changed the channel.
Yeah, he probably, especially in that era when there was shit to watch on the other show, LaParca is not going to survive a Stone Cold segment or a DX segment.
And what the hell is a parka?
It's the Parka. I don't know. You speak Spanish. I don't.
I always thought like, oh, he's a parking attendant. He parks your car, La Parka. And what else? Oh, every time he come in, the announcers would always say, "Oh, hey, La Parka, he's big in Japan." So fucking
No,
send his
Mexico.
ass back to Japan then. What the fuck's
He
he
was
doing
big in
here?
Mexico because WCW had a bunch of Mexican wrestlers. They had a bunch of guys from
Oh, La Parka.
AAA.
Do you know he's big in Japan? Oh, fucking send his ass back. What the fuck is he doing here? But yeah, I remember that. That always the announcers always said he's big in Japan.
I just like that he hit people with chairs.
Fucking
This little
boring.
dance? Thought he was
Yeah,
alright.
he'd hit someone with a chair, then do a dance, and play guitar on the chair.
That's what he did.
No one's gonna remember this dude. I don't need the Men in Black to do that flashy thing on my face to make me forget. I forgot already. I don't know.
I would say he wasn't that good. He wasn't that great in the ring. I would say that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, who are we talking about?
The Parka.
Exactly. LaParca.
Bye. They're gone. Never to be spoken of again.
All right. Anyone got someone else they want to say?
Well, Dave, if you go on that theory, what about New Jack? Because I've never seen him wrestle. All I've seen him do is cut people and chuck them off fucking.
Well, again,
so,
he's not really a wrestler, man.
No, he's
just-
definitely not a wrestler.
no,
And I don't know how
it's-
boring his matches are. I mean, bad again, bad. I mean, someone might die if you see a, not to be.
You know what? No, you know what though? I think Jens is onto something. And he doesn't even realize it. It wasn't so much that New Jack was the boring one. That guy was just a jerk off. But his partner Mustafa,
that
there
dude was
was
boring.
boring.
Yeah.
Like New Jack, he talked. He was a.
I'll be back in a
crazy
second.
promo, and he did crazy shit in the ring. So his matches were, again, probably not good matches, but they wouldn't be boring. But yeah, Mustafa, I don't remember anything from this guy.
Yeah, and Mass Transit all he did was just bleed all over. What sort of wrestling is that?
Yeah,
He got broken is what he did. That was his claim to fame.
yeah. Some of these guys weren't real. I mean, ECW had some of the best wrestlers in the world, and they had some of the worst wrestlers in the world. You know what I mean? Some of these guys were just the backyard style, the
Yeah.
light tube guys. Like that's not wrestling. They don't take no skill to hit somebody in the head with a light tube and jump on thumbtacks. Like that's not pro wrestling.
Yeah. That was made like say this masochist fucking sort of levels. It's like no wrestling. You're supposed to make it look like you're beating the shit out of someone. No, you don't beat the shit out of someone. But some other wrestlers are especially in the day, like if they fucking had the choice of not hitting someone hard and people might think, oh, it's fake, or having to hit someone hard so people thought, oh, this is real, they would do that. But nowadays, when the sort of like kayfabe mystery's all gone and that, it's just like they're just.
Well, I think there's a big difference too between somebody trying to make it look real and being just really pissed off at the other wrestler, because most of those guys want to protect the business and they're looking to protect the people they're performing with because they're hoping that they're going to do it in turn. So when those guys actually start getting like really like physical with one another, it's because there's a lot of animosity in there. It's not that they're trying to make it look more real for the crowd.
No, some of them do though. It's one of them.
Fit Finley, if known to do that.
If a wrestler ain't all that good at wrestling, because there's been one or two where because they aren't good at wrestling, they will hit. Goldberg, he's a perfect example of someone who can't wrestle all that good. So to make it look real, he will just boot people in the face.
Goldberg is one of those wrestlers that'll hit you on purpose by accident.
Well, the biggest problem with people like him is he was never trained properly.
That's true.
Never trained properly. They rushed him through that. They rushed him through that power plant. Yeah,
he's the opposite of guys like the Road Warriors or the Steiner brothers that will just beat the ever living fuck out of you and not give a shit about it.
Yeah, but
like Rick Steiner would toss somebody on their head. They're like, "Oh, sorry, dude."
Yeah, and then just screwdriver. That's crazy.
And then just go about it. Like both the Steiner brothers, they didn't give a fuck about anybody. Now, people talk about the Road Warriors beating the fuck out of people. People got to look at the Steiner brothers. Those dudes showed no mercy, and they were worse than the Road Warriors because they would do crazier shit than the Road Warriors. Like Vader, people would say Vader purposely stiff people. Ron Simmons would purposely stiff people.
Yeah, well, there was some wrestlers, as I say, like with Goldberg, if they can't wrestle that good, they've got a choice of either not wrestling that good and people not like, or beating the crap out of people and it looks real good, even though it feels real bad for the opponent, especially like Bret Hart or someone.
Mike Awesome too. Like that was another dude. I remember he chucked Booker T across the ring in WCW, and he did an awesome bomb from like corner to corner, not off the top rope, and Booker T got fucked up from that. And then you found out later that Booker T really got fucked up from that. And then years later, Stevie Ray is on his podcast. Stevie Ray's like, "Yeah, fuck Mike Awesome."
Well, you're talking about other people that would stiff people a little bit in the ring, and he did it just. I think some of the older guys too would do it a little bit more because they're trying to teach these younger guys a lesson that didn't actually pay their dues. I mean, that happened to Jerry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. He got his leg broke, but Stan Hansen was another one that would do that shit.
Paul Orndorff too. Paul Orndorff used to legit fuck people. I swear to God, I watch Paul Orndorff matches like these days. Paul Orndorff is really hitting people. That dude is really hitting and kicking people.
You know who else would do that? I mentioned last week, my man from the British Bulldogs,
Oh, Dynamite Kid.
Dynamite Kid.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what Mick Foley said. He was a jobber, and he said Dynamite Kid fucked him up for real.
Who, Mick
Mick
Foley?
Foley was a jobber in the 80s before
the
before
Napoleon
Mankind
complex.
Yeah, he was shorter guy, so he wanted to let people know.
Well,
He lifted all those weights.
well, I don't know, because thingy, what was his name? Not Hardcore Holly, but is it
Hardcore Holly was another one. All right, he was boring, and then you hear all this backstage bullying shit. Hardcore Holly's boring too.
Yeah. Oh, well, he beat up some kid, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like
on
that.
Tough Enough. On Tough
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
He stomped that kid's face in on Tough
Yeah,
Enough. No fucking
great.
reason. No, it
Oh.
wasn't great. It wasn't great. That was fucking stupid. Fuck
No.
Hardcore Holly.
No.
And he got what he deserved when he was fucking with Brock Lesnar.
It was great viewing. It wasn't great for the kid because, like, on the slow mo, you see it
where he's dead ass fucking stomping him. He's not holding. He's not holding back.
I know, but
he's
you
not
see that
holding
bit.
back.
Yeah, but you see that bit where, like, he's like on the ropes and he's thinking, oh yeah, he's gonna do wrestling kicks where he's gonna be slapping me in my face, but then one just boots him right in the eye, and you see him like, oh, that, you know, when you see the pain on someone's face, like, oh, that hair.
Hardcore Holly was another boring wrestler.
Yeah,
he kind of was.
I don't know. Well,
he kind of was, and he was no.
It won't with that boxing thing. What was that? All
Tough
for
Enough?
one.
Not
Oh,
Tough
that
Enough.
shit was so
Brawl for All?
stupid. That shit was
The Brawl for
stupid.
All.
Fuck.
Brawl for all. That's it. Not all for one. I would say all for one, but brawl for all. Yeah.
Ooh, I just found another guy. Go ahead though.
Yeah, it was tough, like hardcore Holly, but he was a bit of a bully because he was one of them that, like,
He started. It's funny because he started off X-Pac size. He started off 1, 2, 3 kid size when he Thurman's Sparky plug, and then he became a little roid head.
Bro, he got really big because he was small. He was X-Pac size, and then he was like Triple H's size, like crazy.
So who had the next one? You had the next one, Vigilante?
Wait, I think I skipped. Did we skip DBS?
All right.
I don't know if DBS has got one.
Yeah, he got a picture up.
Dude, love.
Okay, you know, I love and respect Cactus Jack.
Mm-hmm.
The character, everything about Cactus Jack.
And this ruined it for you? It kind of ruined it
for me.
Dude,
love, what the hell?
Man,
yeah, this ruined it.
As much as I kind of like it, I mean, this was
this is some bullshit right here.
Again, I would not disagree. The gimmick was horrible. However, the way that he worked it in with the other two characters, or were the ones that everybody wanted to see, I thought was kind of funny. I thought that aspect of it funny, but them running him as a wrestler's Dude Love week in and week out was just, it was atrocious.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was for the kids. So I want it. It was his kid character that, like, because he couldn't do Cactus Jack on Mankind much.
He wanted to do a character he did from his videotape backyard wrestling days.
You know what else Dude Love was a break, because he would take all these crazy bumps as Cactus Jack and Mankind, but as Dude Love, I mean, that's part of the reason his matches suck. But he didn't take none of that crazy shit. He didn't take. So I think one time he in one of those Stone Cold matches, was he Dude Love or was he Cactus Jack?
I think there was a point where fucking Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels were tag team champions somehow, even though they were feuding with each other.
They hated each other. They were tag champions.
Yeah. And I think they beat Owen Hart and British Bulldog for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
sounds good. Sounds about right.
Shawn Michaels threw the belt down, like I don't know, immediately, or whether it was immediately or later on.
I think they had a match between the two, and then later on afterwards.
And Foley was Austin's tag team partner as Dude Love, not as Mankind or as Cactus Jack, and they were champions.
But no, I'm talking about when Stone Cold won the belt in '98. he feuded with Mick Foley for his first couple pay-per-views. And I want to say both of them were Dude Love, but I can't remember. And
I don't remember that either. I just remember that for some reason, Dude Love and Stone Cold were tearing.
Yeah, because it was like that was the first appearance of Dude Love when he came out. Because they did the little.
I was like, this is so fucking stupid.
They had did the interview where they showed the clips and with Jim Ross and Mick Foley, and they showed the old clips like a few months beforehand. And then Stone Cold was in whatever wrestling match defending the belts by himself. And then fucking all of a sudden, this crazy 60s, 70s music comes on. And Dude Love comes out with two bitches and he starts dancing. He comes out helping with the title. Like, what the fuck is this? But I mean, it was kind of a way of Mick Foley not taking
when they were feuding Vigilante, it would have definitely had to have been Mankind, because he didn't actually introduce the Cactus Jack character until he got into Hell in the Cell with Triple H.
You're right. He didn't come back as far as.
Because remember, there was a big thing. He's like, Daddy-O, Dude Love don't want no part of that.
That's not true.
Michael, but we got the perfect guy, and that's when he brought out Cactus Jack.
No, remember Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie?
Yeah, he brought out Cactus Jack before that.
He brought it out before that. He brought it out for them. So I don't know.
He brought it for the New Age Outlaws.
That's where he first brought it out.
So how did Mick Foley convince Vince McMahon that he let me do Dude Love? Like, how do you?
I have no idea how he convinced
Vince McMahon was like, you know what? Since you almost died with The Rock beating you near death with the chair in that one match.
No, that was after that. That was after.
I'll allow it.
I could tell you exactly how he convinced Vince, and Vince didn't need much convincing at that point, because at that point in wrestling history, the backyard wrestler was starting to really become a thing.
Yeah,
it was being talked about, these people doing these backyard wrestling matches, and people, like what he did when he was younger. That's why it became such a big thing, and why Vince pushed it.
Maybe. And I mean, wrestlers like the Hardy Boys and CM Punk started off as backyard wrestlers.
What bothers me about this character is that, he's the ladies' man, right? Dude Love.
Yeah.
And he's got the body of like a mom that drives a minivan, taking the kid to a soccer game. Like come on.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go, he has the body of a Hillary Clinton. That would have worked just as well.
He has the body of the latest Suicide Squad, where the guy's picturing his mom that he hates.
Yeah, he does look like that. The mom. He thinks
Polka Dot.
Polka Dot Man. Yep.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Slasher, for removing it. Looking at that image too.
So I got another guy that, to me, I never liked this gimmick, and he did nothing in ring, and there was just nothing to him. And so maybe there's a fan of the gimmick because the gimmick was a little interesting. Fucking Boogeyman. Boogeyman. I like Papa Shango, but I like Papa Shango. But I feel like it's the same gimmick.
I'll give Boogeyman this much credit. He had a dope look and he had a dope entrance.
Yeah,
his look and his entrance, he was kind of just like Gangrel. Just like Gangrel. Entrance, gimmick, cool.
Gangrel's a better wrestler than Boogeyman.
I would say that.
Didn't you think the gimmick of eating worms was just where fucked you?
All right. I didn't like the worm eating shit, but everything else was cool. Him coming out, breaking the clock over his head. He looked cool. He had the staff that had smoke coming out of it. The eating worm shit was nasty. Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, and he was in his late 30s, 40s that whole time.
Oh, he wasn't good. He wasn't good in the ring.
No, he was mediocre in the ring at best. I mean, once again, it's all presentation for him, and that's where he was sold on the presentation aspect.
Cool look, but terrible wrestler.
I'd say his ring ability was on par with Zeus. I would actually say that. I would legit say that.
Yeah, but are you gonna want to wrestle after you've had a mouthful of worms?
All right, do you want to get squashed by a guy in 3 minutes and then have this guy spit worms into your mouth?
Jesus. Some of the weird shit they did. Yeah, I mean, it was a different little gimmick, and it was a cool look. He had a cool look, cool interest. That's what he's most remembered. But man, I did not like the Boogeyman. He just couldn't wrestle to me. And he's uninterested. He was just that era of the mid 2000s where they just had they were what you guys say, throwing everything at the wall, seeing what stuck. He was of that era.
Yeah, it was the era when they had guys like the Basham brothers as a tag team. Like, holy fuck.
Those guys could be on the list as well.
Jesus fucking Christ. The Basham brothers.
They were generic.
What the fuck?
Or what they have? Viva la Revolution, the French, whatever the fuck it were.
Oh shit!
What about the Rougeau brothers?
Oh, the Rougeau. I actually thought the Rougeau brothers back in the day. I thought they were alright as a tag.
In the 90s, they were cool.
I didn't like that motherfucker when he became the Mountie. That was fucking stupid.
I thought the Mountie was hilarious. I'm going to be honest. I thought that shit was hysterical.
It was funny. I will say that, but they made that guy an intercontinental champion. That pissed me off. They never made
a tag
Jake
team
the
that
Snake
they brought out around that time. You know a tag team that got on my nerves around that time is when they had the Godwins
brothers
come out.
Oh, all right, yeah, they suck.
Godwins. I hated the Godwins.
They suck too. I thought you were going to say
and that other son of a bitch at Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Do you remember the Beverly Brothers?
I do.
Those guys.
You remember their finisher that was like a broken neck?
Yeah, they did have a cool finisher.
It was crazy, but it was a wild finish. It was like a pop up, and then the other guy grabs their head and drives it to the ground. It's like it was almost always a botch.
All right, I see the small picture right now at DBS, and I gotta disagree. I am sorry. Sorry.
Barry Horowitz.
I would rather watch Barry Horowitz these days.
He makes it to the top of the list. Number one, never Hall of Famer.
All right, I will say he's not a Hall of Famer, but he was at least funny in his matches. You knew he was there to get his ass kicked by whoever was like
top
Bret
of the
Hart
list. Number one, change the channel when he comes on.
No, you don't want to change the channel because you want to watch your favorite wrestler do fucking 8 moves to this dude and then finish him off.
I want to read his contract. I want to look it over. I want to see.
Sid Vicious what he got paid. Him. That's what I'm saying. I want to see
what he got paid. How much did they pay this dude?
I want to see Undertaker give him a. It
was too much. They paid him too much.
Yeah, he was just there for when your favorite wrestler. Remember when they say they're in action? Didn't he tell you who the fuck the opponent was?
Exactly. He was that guy. He was that guy. He's mystery guy.
I feel like they did try to push him a little more because they had him. He was the one, patting himself on the back and all this shit.
Wasn't it later on they actually had him start winning matches?
Mm-hmm. He won a few matches. I say even the Brooklyn Brawler did too. They tried to push him a little.
Yeah, I would like to see the Dark Side of the Ring episode of this dude.
Barry Horowitz?
Yeah.
It's probably nothing. Like he went in the ring and he got beat and he left.
It's just gonna be a half an hour story. There you go.
He had a secret addiction.
He got addicted to painkillers. He got addicted to painkillers because he's getting his ass
painkiller enemas.
Painkiller enema. No, he got addicted to ibuprofen. I don't think he got his ass beat. Those matches weren't long.
No. His Saturday and Sunday matches are usually very short.
Yeah, he goes in the ring, takes the.
He wouldn't even have music. He'd be in the ring and they'd announce his
name. Enough of this, leader.
Yeah, no, I got one for you. Now this guy, I don't care what anybody says. This guy was boring. His finisher was lame as shit because I had to deal with his apparel. Iron Mike Sharp.
See, he's along the same. He's on the Barry Horowitz and Brooklyn Brawler scale because they were jobbers. These guys were complete jobbers.
I didn't like Mike Sharp either. I like him least. Of the three, I feel like I liked him the least.
Remember every single match, Iron Mike Sharp.
Remember, it was a big deal because they took his forearm brace away from him too. Like they tried to make that a big deal. Like nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Well, yeah, but he was one of those guys too, like where Cowboy Bob Orton had the fucking cast on his arm.
Yeah,
For like 2 years.
Cowboys. He was right up on the list, right next to Mike Sharp too.
Oh, Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yeah, I don't care what you say. That son of a bitch was boring as hell in the ring.
Yeah, the only thing that made him cool was that he was Piper's goon, basically. That was the only thing that he had in Cowboy Bob Orton. And he had that cast for like 2 years.
I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna give you my number one. My number one.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this one? This guy, he was overhyped. I felt he was a total waste of space. His biggest claim to fame is that he fought somebody as big as him, or I'm sorry, bigger than him. And that was Big John Studd. Was there anything exciting about that big lump of shit when he was in the ring? I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't say so either. He was also one of those guys back in the days. Like the only reason why you would give a shit, it was who he was fighting. It was like if he was fighting Andre or Hogan back in the day, you'd give a shit. But if he was fighting anyone else, right? Is that what you're saying, Tommy?
Pretty much. If it wasn't for the superstars that he was fighting with, nobody would have gave a shit about seeing him because he was absolutely boring. What did he really do in the ring for the most part? Maybe he body slammed somebody, pushed them up into the corner, and maybe put the boot on him. Maybe a big boot, and that was about it. That was all he really had.
He was a big punching bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a jobber. He was a jobber to the stars, basically.
Yeah. He just all he was big. You first said the name because of how he was treated. I kind of take it back. When you look at him, man, he didn't really do shit. I mean, he wasn't good. You know what I mean? He really wasn't good. He was just there because he was a big body. So if Andre or Hogan beat him, it looked cool because they were beating this big guy. But he didn't provide anything.
I would allow him.
Absolutely not.
I would allow him in the Hall of Fame because he was old school.
I think he is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'll allow him. But you're right.
Vince's Hall.
All your opinions, you're right. I agree with all of you guys. But,
well, think about it. After everything was all done between Hogan and Andre and everything, what happened to him?
Well,
they just slowly phased him right out. He was worthless.
I remember. All right, this was what was really fucking weird about Big John Studd. All right, he left for a couple years, and then he came back for the '89 Royal Rumble, and he turned on Heenan, and he was a face all of a sudden. And he won the fucking Royal Rumble that year, and they did nothing with it.
Hey, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. My last mention lasted longer in the WWF than Big John Studd did. Iron Mike Sharp had more longevity.
He pretty much did, didn't he? Although Andre the Giant wasn't always in there as I mean Big John Studd wasn't always in there as Big John Studd. But Big John Studd is technically a former tag team champion, but not as Big John Studd. He was part of the Executioners.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
So he technically is a WWF champion at one point.
Sheesh.
But Iron Mike Shark, that fucking guy. That guy would just lose every fucking Saturday morning and click on wrestling.
Right. I don't know who we're on now. I don't know what it kind of.
Yeah, I don't know either. So anyone just want to go around and say stuff? I have two left.
I don't really have any left that I can think of. I mean, I kind of said everyone. I already kind of mentioned my number one, which is Triple H. And as somebody, I do look back. He was good at least getting me to hate him. But man, he was so boring.
All right, wait, DBS. I'm sorry, DBS has someone else.
Okay,
But
cool.
all right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Vigilante. Nah, you go first.
Oh no, I mean, like a lot of what I said was already said about Triple H. He's my number one. I mean, very boring for a long time, not just in the '90s and the 2000s, but he was wrestling actively until 2012, and then was an occasional wrestler until a few years ago. And even that 2000s run, he held the belt a lot. You know what I mean? He just always got the belt just because long, boring promos. Had
Not too
some,
not
but
too long ago, they had the Royal Rumble where Roman Reigns defended
yep.
it in the Royal Rumble and Triple H won.
So yeah,
That
he's
wasn't very
one of
long ago, was it?
nope. It was about past 5 years, maybe 2017, 2018, something like that. So yeah, he as recent as then, he was still the world champion, still winning world championships and Royal Rumbles and shit. So it's like just somebody who I don't care what anyone says. I mean, when he got with Stephanie, he was able to book himself as champion. That's not to say he didn't have any good matches along the way. He did, but usually it was his dance partners.
Here and there. Here and
Yeah.
there. I'll say
And I
here
mean,
and there he had good matches.
yeah. And I also think there's people that may be worse promos than him, but man, he
Oh,
was
definitely.
like there's worse wrestlers than him. And there's an argument like if you compare him to Jeff Jarrett, it's like okay, he's better than Jeff Jarrett. He's better than a lot of guys we mentioned on the
You know
list.
what? I'd put those two on equal ground. I dead ass would put those two on equal ground. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? I mean, I understand that because like I kind of do, but I feel like Triple H is a little more interesting in ring than Jeff Jarrett is. A little bit more interesting on promos. But you know what though? At least Jeff Jarrett didn't give us these 20-minute terrible opening every week promos like
I don't
Triple
know.
H.
I thought he would do that in TNA. I
I'll be
thought
honest, I watched TNA sparingly, so if he did that in TNA, my apologies.
well, I remember his days in TNA. And,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, DBS has one here. I disagree.
Oh, man.
Overrated.
Oh.
On the same level with Jeff Jarrett.
This dude is a million times better than Jeff Jarrett ever was.
Better than Jeff
Same
Jarrett.
level, in my opinion. Another one I'd want to change the channel. I watched Brett.
I'll have to agree with DBS on this one, especially when.
Yeah.
But he'd done some stuff before then, but when he came out as Y2J and that, and like, oh, he's the greatest wrestler ever, and all this shit, he was average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King of the average.
Yeah.
Brutal for Jericho.
Oh, he does have a good mic sort of.
He's one of the best
presence.
on the mic.
Yeah. I think he was better back then than he is now. Sometimes he can be just like, okay, whatever, bro.
He's a good punching bag.
He is too, though. Especially when he's a dickhead heel, he makes a good punching bag.
Well, he figured, didn't he, had to lose to China, and apparently he was saying it was shit because China wasn't all that good at wrestling.
No,
I think did they put him with China to try to make China a better wrestler? Is that what it was?
Maybe.
Well, not to put China over, I think.
Yeah, to build China up because they were trying to.
That was also when they actually started putting China in matches instead of her just interfering in Triple H's matches.
Yeah, I mean, well, China got really popular. We do also got to remember this is a business, and so when China got really popular, they were like, "Well, we got to do something with it because they." We talked about earlier for some of the dumb shit, but Vince Russo broke down when they looked at the quarter hours. Whoever got the best ratings, they gave TV time. So when China was getting pushed, when China was on TV, people would watch. So they like, all right, let's put her with Jericho and Jeff Jarrett and some of these other people to build her up as a star because people want to see her. So that was kind of what was going on there. That's what I think. because she was popular. You know what
I
I mean?
like-
Whatever word,
I,
better or
I
worse.
do enjoy China on Pornhub.
Another RIP, I guess we got to throw out.
No, we're talking about
Wait,
wrestling.
one more thing, Slasher. This guy here, he could be on the Hall of Fame, not because of his skills, but because I'm sure he was a kiss ass to management. Chris Jericho.
You know what? Probably you're
I
probably
said,
right about
I,
that.
probably
I've
not
said
wrong
my,
with
I've said my piece.
Man,
Well, I don't think he was a kiss ass, but more as a yes man, as in like if they said, "Oh yeah, we want you to do this, Chris," he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
yeah.
If I were Caesar, I'd give him a thumbs down. I'd stand up and give him a thumbs down.
You feed him to the lions.
Yeah, thumbs down.
The lion. Well, you got to hit him with the lion tamer. It looks like. You know what? Though? I can kind of get it because he was really hype. I mean, I'm a Jericho-holic, you know, especially from that era. I really did like that.
A
guy.
Jericho-holic.
Yeah, man. I was
Oh,
a
shit.
huge Jericho fan.
You
back
fucking dug that out of the fucking grave. I can't remember the last time I heard that.
then. Yeah, I liked the Jericho when he was we had Ralphus and shit in
Yeah.
WCW, and I liked him when he first came over, and I liked him when they actually kind of got shitty when they gave him the world belt, but I liked him. I liked him when he was an upper mid carder, beefing with Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. And then he was a tag team with Chris Benoit for a little bit. I thought that was a cool era for him, and I like him later in 2000s beefing with somebody else who was on your list, Shawn Michaels.
I like Jericho. I like Jericho better than Shawn Michaels. I'll say that much.
No, I don't have all the Fozzy. I never bought no Fozzy album. I never bought no Fozzy album. Even though I did like that one song he comes out with now. That's Fozzy. But they overplayed it and shit.
Why don't you download it from the Apple Store?
Downloaded it. I might have downloaded it from Kazaa back in the day. I don't know. I can't remember. Who knows? But no, I like Jericho. But I also can get it because I get whenever you have somebody who's kind of hyped up, and you're like, well, he's just another guy out there.
They had the clock. The clock was fucking. That clock was one of the best entrances in fucking wrestling because they would play this during like Raw and shit, and they'd have the clock and then wind it down to the exact time you came on Raw. It was fucking awesome.
They did that for like 4 months of that clock.
It was the same what they did with Taz when Taz was coming in. They had the Taz thing on the screen before people's matches. Although Jericho lasted way longer than Taz.
Yeah.
But
they put a lot of hype behind him, and if that rubbed you the wrong way, and you're like, "This is just another fucking wrestler," I can get it. And there's stretches of Jericho that I don't really like. There's lots of stretches. It's not that great. But
all right, DBS. Before you bring up your next one, anyone else got one to throw out there?
Yeah, I'm all out. I'm all out of ammo.
I got two more.
I can't think.
Anyone else got one more?
Well, I've got one, but you won't know him because no fucker really will, apart from if you live where I live.
I think I know who you're gonna say.
I don't think you do. Well, who do you think I'm going to say?
Big Daddy?
No.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy was great.
The British.
Yep. Big British.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't boring. He used to belly bounce about 5 or 6 wrestlers at once. But anyway, no. It was my mate called the Geech. He was called. It's like, you. So, DBS, Google it, see if it comes up. The Geech. GEACH.
This guy is actually a legit wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it. Okay, spell it again. GEACH.
Yeah.
The Geech. Wrestler. Okay.
How old is this guy?
Oh, he was about 25, I think. Mid-20s and that. And he bulked up and that because he started doing these protein shakes. Well, he couldn't wrestle for shit, right? And he got real good at being like a Kurt Angle sort of rip-off. But obviously, because he couldn't wrestle, he'd just mouth off how good he was, but never wrestled. So the crowd really hated him. He was great on the mic, but because his wrestling was so shit, because I think he had his first ever wrestling match, like that they do, is to see how tough you are, and so it's a slapping match. It's a chest slapping match, and it's a
Oh
quit.
yeah, the chop exchange bullshit.
Yeah, the chop.
Popular these days.
Yeah. Well, to like
Ring of Honor really made that popular.
I hate that shit. Let's slap each other as hard as you can. See who's really tough.
Yeah.
Well, motherfuckers do it. It's so goofy.
I noticed Ring of Honor was very fucking high on that exchange at one point in some.
Yeah. Well, I think if you ever start wrestling, your first ever match is a chop match, just to see. Oh yeah, I'll sort of like stroke. Because if you can't take a chop or two, then you're not going to be a wrestler. So like he done that match. I think he came second, right? And I think he had. Yeah.
Was it this guy?
Let's have a look. No.
Okay.
That ain't the Geach.
I can't find him. I tried looking at it. I found Night Beach and all this
every time I type the Geach, it says the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fucking good. It's English sort of thingy, so maybe the American Google whatever is thingy. But yeah, anyway, he'd fucking I think done one match, but because with wrestling you have to take a few sort of like bumps and sort of like rolls and that on the canvas. Well, he was no good. He was a bit too stiff, so he didn't like it. So he won't wrestle, and they should have really made him into a manager. But because the wrestling,
wait, hang on. You said he had like a knockoff Kurt Angle gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got your boy right here, dude.
Sorry.
Medals and all, right?
Because his phrase to piss the crowd off was, "Yeah, there we go, the geek." That's him. That's him.
Shit.
Yeah.
He came out with medals and they would talk how good he is and did not wrestle. That's a kind of a funny gimmick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like I'm the best wrestler ever.
It's funny how on his singlet it actually says the Geach too.
Yeah. Oh, he had that sort of specially made and that shit because he won't loaded, but he had a job and that. And so, like, he had enough money that he could afford to buy, like, the equipment and that, which he did. Cause well, I don't think they're cheap, then, because they're specially made.
Yeah.
And so, like, he looked the part. This was the thing. He looked the part, and he could talk the part.
And he couldn't wrestle for shit.
But, yeah, he couldn't wrestle for shit. And so they got to a stage where he'd pissed off the crowd so much because that's what he used to do. He used to get in the ring, and when the wrestler used to go to a like get him in a hold or whatever, he used to run out of the ring and that, and I think he used to get himself disqualified, and so the crowd fucking hated him. Well, they had this thing where
did you actually all right. So you knew this guy. You said he's a friend.
Oh, well, yeah. I know him so well that I knew him before he was doing this wrestling, and because he was a real big wrestle fan and that, and he was saying to me like, because I'd known him since he was about 18 and that, because I'm like 10 years older than him, and
All right,
I was
now
at
we're
a
now we're
nightclub.
sorry, Jens. Now we're gonna call this a tribute to the Geech.
Oh yeah.
From what
Yeah.
you described, that sounds like a brilliant wrestling gimmick.
It
Like,
does, right?
Oh, that sounds fucking
A guy
brilliant.
who acts like he good wrestling, he's a chicken shit. You don't want to tangle up with anyone.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
He's better than a lot of people on these lists just off of the strength of that gimmick.
No, but no, it was boring as fuck because he won't wrestle.
He's boring as fuck.
It's like one of them.
Nobody's come up with that gimmick before.
No, the gimmick was good. Yeah, but the gimmick was good. No, but we're talking about boring wrestlers. We're not talking about boring gimmicks. The gimmick was really good, but the wrestling was really fucking shit. It didn't even happen.
We actually did talk about some boring gimmicks.
We did.
Yeah, but this one, it was just a boring wrestler.
It sounds like a better gimmick than Jeff Jarrett.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's better. Even if he couldn't do shit. You compare him to
but Jeff Jarrett wrestled.
Great.
No, Jeff Jarrett wrestled. Well, anyway.
Kinda.
Yeah, well, anyway. I'll get to the end of the fucking story because it's a bit of a tragic one for him anyway.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Man, no.
Yeah. Well, me and this other dude, we told him, no, if I was you, I won't do it. But he went, no, I'll be all right and that. But we knew that sooner or later he was going to get a bump. Well, the arranged it so to get his comeuppance, to get the pop from the crowd and that, which they popped all right. Two dudes like grabbed him in that. One of them held him in a sort of like, what's that like thing, you know, where you like fall backwards and throw him into the ring, a sort of like ring toss thing. I mean, a corner. No, it's where they're on the floor, but you grab the legs.
Oh yeah, the wheelbarrow, like a wheelbarrow type thing.
Yeah, sort of, but like they're looking up. Well, anyway, one of them grabbed him.
Yeah, I know. The slingshot.
One of them grabbed.
Slingshot.
Yeah, slingshot. That's it. It's sort of like got him in a slingshot position. Well, because he's no good at fucking wrestling, he didn't realise that keep your head right on the canvas. Don't lift your head up because this other dude from the top rope. But I think though, like the dude injured him on purpose because he was getting too much fucking like
heat.
Well, yeah, and so it was getting him quite popular because yeah, and so he like landed on his head.
Ooh, shit.
That and then and then the other dude sort of like sort of give them a slam or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he was fucked up, right? That
he never wrestled after that?
No, he never wrestled ever again because he went to hospital. And he was one of them where he'd never been in much of a fight or out and that shit. And so that was probably the worst injury he's ever had because he caused him to have like...
Maybe you shouldn't bash this guy now as being one of the worst wrestlers you've ever known.
No, he wasn't worse. He was.
Still, I like the Geeks. He's over with me, man. He's one of my favorite wrestlers I've ever heard of.
Yeah, well, his career's fucking over because he got like
You're a cold-hearted fucking bastard, dude.
No, he shouldn't have even been. In fact, he was lucky.
I don't know. It sounded like he was making a career for himself.
He didn't get seriously injured because he got minor injuries. Well, quite minor injury, quite sort of serious minor injuries because he started getting headaches or whatever.
You're saying he's not crippled now, right?
No, because he got headaches and that, and he had to go to the doctors, and the doctors give him like some pills and that stop him getting like dizzy spells and all that this shit. I think.
Dude.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
No, shout out
eh,
to the Geech. I was giving a shout out to Cyclope before, but now shout out to the Geech.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
fuck the Geech.
Well. Yeah.
Best
There is
gimmick ever.
footage. Yeah, there is footage of where you see that the dude jumping on or like doing like a elbow drop onto his head,
Oof.
then getting slammed because they filmed it and that.
Or Geech. My heart
Yeah.
goes out to you, Geech.
Yeah, really fucking funny because we told him, we said, what you gonna do in the ring? Like, what you gonna do? Shit. And then because like he didn't do shit in the ring, he went for a big payoff move that like fucked him up. But
I
yeah,
grew up with someone. I grew up with someone who became a wrestler, but he never really made anything of himself. Like his claim
Yep.
to fame, his claim to fame was that he was on Ring of Honor's first card, and
Mm.
they dead ass cut his match out of the fucking DVD I have.
oh
Damn.
well no, yeah, Gage. I think he did get like on a like fucking one of the papers, especially that one where he got his head slammed. But there was a thingy, a picture that was really funny because this is how much he got the crowd wild. Someone had like a poster thing like sign that said something on the lines of "Die, Geach, die," something like that. Honestly, that's how.
What does Geech hate, man? Geech's
Oh,
the guy, man.
Yeah, well,
Bring
that's
back
how
the
much
Geech.
heat. Oh,
Let's
he
bring
got
back
the heat.
It sounds
Oh.
like it.
I want to
Oh,
bring back the
man.
Geech.
Like, I tell you something at all. He had one of these faces, like, because he's an all right guy in that. Like, you don't really mind it, but when he was playing the villain, he has got one of these faces that you
Punchable?
do.
A punchable
Yeah,
face?
yeah, especially yeah, because he's really like cheerful in that. And so when he's playing the bad guy, and then you see him smiling, like really happy in that, you
I don't
really
know.
want
I'm a fan of the Geech, man. You got me
Me
on the
too.
Geech train.
Me too.
to. Yeah, well, I think.
Top wrestler ever, man. Fuck it.
Yeah, well, I think the best of the Geech is available because it'll be only on for 10 minutes. Yeah, it's only on
I'm
for 10
checking him out. I'm
minutes.
looking for him on YouTube now. I got something to watch.
All right.
after the
So when
Geech.
you look up,
Oh, yeah.
all right, what I found was when I typed in Geech, I put in Geech British wrestler, the Geech British wrestler, British wrestler,
Yeah,
and you could find this guy.
Okay.
I wonder if
yeah.
he's is he up on YouTube? Is there shit of him on YouTube?
No, but
Oh, come on! I want to see him horribly wrestle.
no, but there was an intro on the wrestling corporation that he was wrestling for. That you see him sort of. Well, he didn't wrestle. He didn't wrestle. There's only one bit where you see him get his head slammed.
So he didn't. So he didn't wrestle at all.
Well,
After that match.
I think he did, but it was so shit that fucking you wouldn't have filmed it. I think I can't remember exactly because I'd have been too busy pissing it. But I think something on the lines of like when he was getting thrown around, he
Yeah. He's not in
He-
NXT UK right now. He's not in
no, is he fuck? No, it's the whole it's like the whole wrestling federation thing. It's in Hull. It was based in Hull because he used to like sort of manage the finances a bit, because
he was a backstage guy too.
because he was that shit at wrestling. There was but he wanted to be in the wrestling business, and that's how fucking desperate he got. He let two dudes sort of like slam him.
But he's a backstage guy too. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, but there is a like intro where you see it's really funny because fucking I know how shit he is.
All right.
And
I don't want to
fucking
keep slandering this guy, man.
it's not slandering. It's not.
All right.
There's video evidence.
I got-
There's video evidence.
I just
It's
gotta
real
run,
funny.
The Geech is great. I'm sick of this.
I gotta run through the the rest of the panel. I don't agree with Geech slander because this guy's gimmick sounds awesome.
I didn't do it to him.
I can't wrestle for shit, but I'm gonna be
Neither could he. That's why he got slammed. Because I think there was like, right, we fucking know that you're shit. You're never gonna wrestle. So why don't we slam your head off so it makes it look really real? And the crowd popped. They made sure. You know when you're slamming someone's head and then you're slamming them around, you're gonna get that crowd popping.
Do you still talk to the Geech, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, you
But he got married. He got married.
Shout
I
out to
think.
Mrs. Geach.
Yeah, well, I think after that, he realised that he'd never live it down, and so he got married.
The Geech has a fan club, according to Darius Munchausen. I need to join the Geech's fan club.
Bullshit.
Man, I can see him having fans. If that gimmick, that sounds like so.
Why would he have fans? He don't even wrestle. He wrestled for about 10 minutes, and that was it. No way he's got a fan club.
This turned into a longer speech about a wrestler nobody's ever heard of. And you were all fucking dropping.
I had.
You're convinced he's one of the best wrestlers of all time.
No, he's the shittest wrestler of all time. He didn't even wrestle.
Best wrestling gimmicks, at least. This is incredible. I really.
Someone
would do that over here with a guy, especially if he really couldn't wrestle and he would do like shitty moves. That would be so great.
Yeah, if he runs, goes out of the ring and runs around like a chicken shit for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, like I hadn't seen his fucking like video reel or the best of and that. But if we can get it, I want to see it because I know the ending's good. I know he has one match.
Well, I know after that I am going to nominate Jens as the worst wrestling promoter ever.
He's not even. He retired. As I say, we was fucking thinking he got off lucky because that silly cunt would have gone for a fucking high maneuver onto concrete just because, like, he thought, oh yeah, well, because I think his mentality was a bit like sort of
Jeff Hardy.
No, his mentality. No, his mentality was like flicking a coin. You know, heads I win, tails I might get injured, because he knew he wasn't all that good. In fact, a 50-50. Me and this other dude and that, we knew how shit he was, and like sooner or later he was going to get injured. But we thought it could have been even worse. We thought he could have been like broken bones or something. Luckily enough, it was just
on the head. I mean, that could have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you see it, it's like proper. Oh yeah, we can see why he got concussion on that night. Because it was like severe concussion, I think he got diagnosed with. Because then he started having dizzy spells, and they had to give him some kind of fucking some plane sickness. I think there was tablets or something that like stopped him from doing these dizzy spells.
Jens, I'm trying to wrap this up, so go ahead with the rest of the Geech stuff. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Oh yeah, the Geech has a fan club, man. I don't have a fake book. I'm willing to make one just to show my love for the Geech, man. That sounds like the funniest gimmick ever. I mean, I can't believe they haven't done that gimmick with, especially some of these wrestlers we had on this list were not good as wrestlers or as gimmick. I get your point that he wasn't a good wrestler. He just had a good gimmick. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, the gimmick
didn't have either.
Oh yeah, well, if he could have took all them slams and that, if he was good at taking bumps, it'd still be thinking like wrestling. Well, not wrestling, just mouthing off and then getting slammed, which ain't wrestling.
Yeah, just talking shit and telling everybody you're
Yeah, but he still would have been like considered a wrestler. But one concussion, one severe case of concussion was enough for him. And he quit.
I will say this: wrestling is such a tough business. Unfortunately, you got to deal with those concussions. There's not a wrestler that's wrestled over 5 years that hasn't had a concussion.
Yeah, well, he didn't think that. Because if he knew that, it was one of these where he thought like it was going to be a bit like touch football.
All right, yeah.
And then he got put into the NFL.
All right, Jens, I'm gonna have to stop slandering. Stop you from slandering.
We're not slandering him.
All right,
We're just telling the truth.
I got you. I'm kidding. I'm just trying to move this along a little bit.
I'm taking the piss because we knew that his wrestling was shit.
Yeah, but I think we have talked about the Geach more than anyone.
Yeah. Yes, this was like a fucking half an hour fucking talk about the Geach. No more talk about the Geach.
Hopefully next week we've got his show reel.
Anyone else got anyone to mention?
I got one more.
Yeah.
We mentioned his tag team partner.
Oh wait,
Charlie Haas never did anything for me. Sheldon Benson.
I actually did like Charlie Haas. Charlie Haas was all right, but yeah, he kind of didn't. Even though Sheldon Benjamin didn't.
They tried to push him at one point, but it just failed to really garner any kind of attention.
They kind of separated. They wanted to push him solo. He wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad wrestler, but he's just like when I think of boring, I think of the guys that just like I don't really want to see their matches. You know what I mean? I don't want to see them on TV because they don't.
Charlie Haas's coolest thing was his finisher. He had that thing that was like a sharpshooter, but he did like a bridge and was on his back.
Yeah, that leg lock was cool. That little with the bridge. Yeah,
that was kind of the best thing about Charlie.
It was almost like a inverted figure four.
Yeah.
Thing. So that was kind of cool. But again,
look at that! Like his career, apparently his fan club has been deleted as well.
Damn.
The
Geach, the legendary, the British wrestler of our time.
That's because he probably got
wrestler of all time, the Geach.
He's a legend in my mind now. He's up there with Mass Transit. My legend.
I tell you what, every time I go to the bathroom now, that's what I'm going to think of.
Like if I had a fucking the new WWE game right now, I'd make a tag team of the Geach and Mass Transit.
Oh yeah, the Geach's stats would be like fairly good, but his resistance would be shite.
Who was a better wrestler, the Geach or Mass Transit?
Mass Transit, easy. Like mass Transit, fucking. Like
the only thing Mass Transit ever did was wrestle midgets. That's all he ever did, and got beat up by him too. I might add.
Yeah, but Mass Transit.
Well, that's not the only thing he did. He also fucking got butchered in the ring by New Jack. There you go.
Oh yeah, he got thrown off the top of all those tables by New Jack.
No, that was Grimes. That was that guy.
Yeah,
Grimes.
Mass Transit
was the one that. Mass Transit was the one that New Jack used an X-Acto knife on his forehead.
But first he threw him down because he said he was trying to shatter his legs because he had lied about being a wrestler.
But he didn't put him through any tables. Yeah, he didn't.
No, he threw him off the tables. Remember, they were in the air.
No, that was Grimes. That was Grimes from the Baldies.
Yeah,
that was when they were on the scaffold, right?
Yeah.
Tommy?
Yeah.
Mass Transit is a totally different guy. Mass Transit was a guy who lied about his age.
Yeah, he was dressed up like it was a bus conductor, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was supposed to be like a Mass Transit. It was basically like an XXXXL Big Boss Man costume. And he was a 17-year-old kid who lied about being a wrestler.
Yeah.
All it was midgets. Yes, he threw around midgets.
Well, Mass Transit asked to be cut. Geach didn't, and I know for a fact he did not ask to have his fucking head.
Yeah, but see, there you go. That Mass Transit and Geach would be a good fucking tag team because we got one small guy who's a pussy and one big fat guy who's willing to get his head carved up.
Yeah, but
I
Master
really thought
Hansen's dead.
I
but
really
rest in
I really
peace.
thought that he had thrown him off like some scaffolding too for some reason.
No, that was
I do remember the boss man. Like, well, it wasn't even a boss man. It was supposed to be like a transit outfit that they used to have back in the day for the bus drivers. I remember the outfit and everything.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I thought he threw him off the top of something too. For some dumb reason.
No, Master Hansen only had one match versus New Jack.
Yeah, New Jack tried to kill a few people.
New Jack tried to also kill a 70-year-old man by hitting him in the face.
Oh yeah! Oh, that poor bastard. He had that look to say,
New Jack was nuts, man.
Yeah. That old man give New Jack the look to say, "Oh, this is a bit too hardcore." Because he did it as fucking hard as he could. It's like,
well, do you even know why New Jack apparently said he went off on this old guy? He said because the old guy wasn't selling his
him,
hit.
or he said something like,
well, that too. But remember he said he wasn't selling the hits.
Yeah.
He wasn't selling the hits, and that was pissing him off. And then he said he headbutts me, and then he went off on him.
Did
he
you ever
chased
see
him around the ring too? He chased him out into the freaking where the crowd ran away.
He hit him with chairs and a baseball bat. He legit hit this dude in the side of the head with an aluminum baseball bat. 70-year-old man, and the 70-year-old man got up. He got up.
What was his name? Joe.
Gypsy Joe.
Oh, I'd have loved to have seen a fucking fight against New Jack and Geach. That would have been great.
There was another match with New Jack where New Jack legit took a fucking razor out of his pocket and started stabbing some dude in the stomach.
Oh, not in the head.
No, first he started in his stomach. He started in the dude's stomach because the dude tied up with him. He legit did like a fucking start of the match tie up. And New Jack takes a razor out of his pocket and starts stabbing him.
What up, Papa? See Papa come back into the chat. What up, Cotton?
Yeah, Papa.
What's up? What's up again? Yeah, we're still going on with this.
I have an honorable mention.
Yeah, New Jack's not boring. You could say he may be all right. R.I.P. New Jack, not really, because you're an asshole. I mean,
no, we didn't. No one said
honorable mention. I got one too.
No one said New Jack was boring. We just got on to talk about mass transit.
Like
we just
car crash.
We got to talk.
Jens, guess what, Jens? I can't understand what you're saying. Hold on a second. So I know you're saying you want to try to wrap this up, Slasher. So I want to get to my honorable mention. I want to get to my honorable mention. I know Death by Saber said he's got one as well, but my honorable mention was somebody who he wasn't the worst in the ring, but goddamn, he was annoying, and I never wanted to see him on screen. Was Playboy Buddy Rose?
Yeah, his gimmick was funny though. I will say his gimmick was funny.
God, but you can't tell me just even looking at him.
He's disgusting. Disgusting to look at.
I like the match with Ultimate Warrior, where Ultimate Warrior just came in and smashed them all off. But Ultimate Warrior did that to most dudes. I'd like to have seen Ultimate Warrior go against Geach. That would have been a good match.
What about Brock versus Geach?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking
WrestleMania main event. Brock versus Geach.
Yeah. Or a roided up fucking what's his name? Who smashed Bret Hart's face in.
Or how about a handicap match? Geach versus the Road Warriors. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
No, you know what? Here you go. Here's the perfect match for him. A triple threat match. You get Geach, you get Cheeseburger, and you get Gilbert.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. God damn.
Holy shit. Does that guy still wrestle? Holy shit.
Might.
I haven't heard that guy's name in years.
I thought I remember hearing somebody said that he had turned up in AEW.
I'm surprised
Like
he seems like he'd be perfect for fucking AEW.
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you hear anything about that, Vigilante? I thought somebody said he showed up in AEW.
I don't know. I mean, they've had a lot of wrestlers show up over there, because there's the I'm kind of a little bit more in tune with the product now, but there was a gap over the pandemic where I just totally lost track of what AEW was doing.
That's
So
pretty
I
much
mean, and
where
a
I
lot of
lost.
guys showed up for one off. He could have, and they do that. All the indie and TNA and whatever ever guys from back in the day, they try to have them show up on AEW for one night or two. So they might have.
Is Steve Carino's son still wrestling? Because that dude was kind of cheeseburger-ish, where he would just get his ass kicked. Yeah, Colby Carino.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember him, but he might.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing him in Ring of Honor, just being there to get the shit kicked out of him. Anyone got anyone else?
Yeah, I got one. Honorable mention.
Here
The
we
guy
go.
was just annoying as hell.
Here we go.
Red Rooster.
See this? Tommy has a personal story about the Red Rooster.
Yeah, so don't be slagging him off, DBS.
No, you know what? No, his gimmick was terrible. And you can't say that you were excited to see him in the ring, but yeah, once again, one of the nicest guys that I've run into. That was a
No, that was last week, Tommy. We're talking about. He's saying he's the worst wrestler. He's not talking about the gimmick.
Were you not listening to what I was saying? Yeah, learn to shut up for a second.
I was saying
his gimmick was bad. Yeah, his gimmick was bad. There's no doubt about that. But he is one of the nicest wrestlers that I ever met. But yeah, the gimmick was horrible. Gimmick was,
well,
just
yeah, but what about his wrestling? What about his wrestling?
His wrestling actually wasn't bad. Terry
Taylor
was actually a good wrestler, but
those
got hampered with shit gimmicks.
No, I disagree. It was entertaining though. It wasn't boring.
Well, all right.
No, he'll make the Hall of Fame once they run out of people to put in the Hall of Fame. Once they run out of names.
Is he in the not Hall of Fame?
No, he'll make it in. That's when they run out of people to put in. Like, oh, we've already put this person. Oh, who do we have left? Put Red Rooster in. Why not?
Just before they put the women wrestlers in.
All right. You wanna know what he followed this up with when he went from this to WCW? He followed it up with the Tailor-Made Man, where he was basically a fake $1 million man in WCW. Oh no! Wait. First, he was the Terrence Taylor, the computerized man of the '90s.
I don't remember
All right.
that. I don't remember that or Taylor-Made.
And if anyone remembers Marlena, who used to manage Goldust.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was his wife.
She had a fucking laptop at ringside, and it was supposed to be that like the laptop could help Terry Taylor win the matches. Like, she's typing in it.
Yeah, she's typing in code. So that's back in the days where they nobody had computers because they were too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
So all they had to do was type really fast, and you would think they were doing something because you didn't know any better because you didn't have a fucking computer. Only they were expensive as shit. So I was like,
it's like
technology.
How did they not tie that into the RoboCop appearance in WCW?
Right?
They should have did that.
Yeah.
RoboCop was in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
RoboCop saved Sting from the Four Horsemen in WCW.
What?
It was actually RoboCop.
Peter Weller.
Yes.
No. It was not Peter Weller.
It wasn't? Why did I think it was him for some reason?
No, it really wasn't Peter Weller.
Okay.
Well, let's have a picture of it. Let's get some.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I need to see this.
But yeah, it was. I thought it was Peter Weller. You might be right. Yeah, I mean, you would imagine
it wasn't Peter Weller. Yeah, I don't think he would have lowered himself to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would imagine it wasn't because you're right. But I thought they paid enough.
He was good in that suit though. Yeah, fucking hell.
RoboCop pulls Sting out of the cage that the Four Horsemen put him in at this pay-per-view. Capital Combat
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mm.
Just crazy. Just
So
ridiculous.
RoboCop is in wrestling lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RoboCop is legit in wrestling lore.
Dead or alive, you're getting pinned to 3.
See, all right, that's a cool picture. I gotta say.
And the 90s were just so wacky when you really think about it. Some of the stuff we got, especially for wrestling.
But look
I
at
mean-
Sting and RoboCop together. That's an awesome picture.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks like a cool ass poster. Like if I was a kid, if I was a kid and I had that as my poster, I'd be like happy as fuck. It's RoboCop and
Yeah,
Sting.
well,
I was like, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on with this poster?
Well, again, another thing everybody's got to remember, I don't even know how anybody could even think it would have been Peter Weller at that point because he wasn't even the RoboCop character anymore.
No,
You gotta remember the last
no.
movie he did was RoboCop 2 in '87.
No, this was no, he
Tommy
was
gets slagged off
No.
vigilante.
Peter
He
Weller
just
was
said-
RoboCop.
No,
Peter
Yeah.
Weller was RoboCop and RoboCop 2. It was 3 that Peter Weller was done as RoboCop.
this
No,
was
he wasn't in part 3. They had a different guy standing.
No, he wasn't in part
Yeah.
3. This was around the time of part 2. This was
Oh,
WCW.
No, this was
promoting
in
part
like 1990.
No. Yeah, 1990.
No, wait,
Peter Weller.
Tommy.
Yeah,
Peter
the last
Weller was-
movie, the last
Dude,
movie was in '87.
No, Peter Weller was RoboCop in RoboCop 2 in 90. It was Peter Weller in the first 2. It was the third one where it wasn't Peter Weller. The third one was like 92 or 93.
Yeah, Tommy just got real touchy on the RoboCop
No,
facts
RoboCop. Yeah,
there.
you're right. It did come out in 1990. RoboCop 2 came out in 90. The first one came out in 87. And let's look on Wikipedia for the last.
Yeah, it could have been Peter Weller though. How
No
just because he
way.
ain't
No fucking way.
no, fuck that.
No, what
Just
you
because
got
he
to
ain't,
also remember, they filmed these movies a year in
yeah,
advance.
but just
so
because he ain't doing it on film, yeah, but just because he
This
ain't
would
doing
have
it
been
on
the
film.
promo of RoboCop. You know what I mean?
What's
He would have
it? Yeah, what's it like? Peter Weller's kids loved fucking WCW, wanted to meet Sting, so Peter Weller's like, okay, then I'll get the suit on.
It
Been,
wasn't
looking
Peter
at
Weller.
Wikipedia, this was during the promotion of RoboCop 2, so that's why they did
It was
like,
during
hey,
this was straight up a fucking pay-per-view just to promote RoboCop 2. WCW was that desperate for money at the time that they did this.
mm.
And come on, we've seen later on how desperate WCW got for money after they were hugely successful when they did the Kiss Demon, when they did the No Limit Soldiers, when they did all that bullshit.
Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone.
Well, actually, when Dennis Rodman was there, they were still kind of successful.
Oh no, that was, but I mean, it was still like a
By the time the Kiss Demon came around, they were pretty much done.
Yeah.
No fucking way Peter Weller would have lowered himself for this.
Listen, when
Yeah.
I'm looking online, hold on. If you Google who played RoboCop in WCW, it shows Peter Weller.
I
IMDb.
don't believe it was Peter Weller.
IMDb has it as Peter Weller was RoboCop.
I refuse to believe that Peter Weller would lower himself to that.
No, it's a big fucking deal, isn't it? Meeting Sting.
Peter Weller also had difficulty moving around in the RoboCop costume, so there's no. I can't.
No,
show
he
the
didn't.
Footage, I can't show the footage right now of him of RoboCop. Actually, I'll get struck if I show the footage of RoboCop walking down to the ring and taking Sting out of the cage right now. I'll get struck. I can't do it.
Yeah, you will, because now WWE owns that footage, and they are nasty when it comes to striking people. So I wouldn't play it.
It's not Peter Weller. I 100% guarantee it's not Peter Weller.
Well, MDB or whatever and Google says otherwise. So
Yeah, and so apparently Scream Right does too.
Maybe
Scream
in the
Right.
promos. Maybe in the promos because there were promos.
Well, maybe there's some people are saying that it wasn't Peter Weller. So maybe that's what they did. Maybe you're right. They did like the promos. He did the promo stuff. and then they had an actual guy.
Yeah.
from Bad
There,
Boy come out
there's
and
there's actually a discrepancy of who actually played it. Now Cornette is the one that's going around saying it was Peter Weller, but Sting, who was working with him, said it was not Peter
wasn't.
Weller.
So that leads me to believe he probably
I
just
believe
did promotional
Sting more
material.
than Cornette.
I do too. So probably it's to split the difference. They probably had him do like that little poster, do like promotional stuff, and then have another guy play RoboCop on the night. That's probably because I think that's his picture for the little box art and stuff like that. So they probably just had him take some pictures, use some old pictures that had him, and then when they actually have a guy go out, they probably had like some jobber wrestlers.
RoboCop actually legit exists in the wrestling world that we know.
Yeah.
So does Chucky, and so does Chucky. Chucky
And
was
Jay
shooting
Leno.
Jay Leno.
And David Arquette while we're at it.
Yep.
Steve.
And who could forget Rodzilla?
Steve.
Dennis Rodman.
And Karl Malone.
Yeah. Fucking.
Man, No Limit Soldiers.
Mr. T.
Yeah.
Arnold.
Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper.
And
Hugh Jackman.
forgotten catcher AJ Przinsky from the White Sox.
Pac-Man Jones.
Pac-Man
Donald
Jones.
Trump.
Another guy that bought in TNA. Lawrence
You know
Taylor. What you
what,
got about
though?
Lawrence Taylor?
You know what, Vigilante, though? You know what, though? When you're talking about all those celebrity people that came through, though, I will give Karl Malone all the credit in the world. At least he actually trained and tried to learn some moves before he actually got in there.
I thought he wrestled better than Rodman did.
Yeah, he was a better wrestler than Rodman. He definitely
Mr.
cared more
T.
and trained more. Rodman doesn't look like he did a damn thing. He showed up on the night. Just whatever. He looked like he didn't know what was going on.
Also,
But,
remember, Drew Carey was in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah, he was. That pissed me off. Because that wasn't even – Drew Carey wasn't even famous when he was in the Royal Rumble. I was like, what the fuck is Drew Carey doing?
No, he was famous, but his show was like already done. Right?
Yeah, it was like he was famous, but he wasn't at a peak. It was like you forgot Drew Carey even existed from to be in the Royal Rumble. It was like he wasn't even a star at the time. It just was like I think it was in between his show and didn't he host what was it?
Whose line is it anyway?
No, he hosted another game show after that. Like
Family Feud or something, wasn't it?
Price is Right. Price is Right. Price is Right. That's what it is. Price is Right. So yeah, this is before he hosted Price is Right, but after his show and after Whose Line. So he's kind of like, he's just another guy. Like, oh, Drew Carey, this big star.
Carey. They actually put him in the Royal Rumble. What the fuck?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson exists in the wrestling world.
He was, to me, I mean, a lot of people, because he brought so much hype to Stone Cold, but he's smiling the whole time. Like, he was not selling this at all.
Muhammad Ali exists in the wrestling world.
He does. He fought Antonio Inoki back in the day.
Well, also the first WrestleMania where he was the outside referee.
Yeah, he was.
But anyone got any other
there's
guys to suggest before I drop my last one?
There's a couple of guys. I'll give them honorable mentions because I still think they're better than a lot of people. But these are recent, newer wrestlers that I'm like, and I don't even hate these wrestlers, but I just don't think they're that interesting. I think they're kind of overrated. One is a guy named Jay White, and the other is a guy named Adam Cole. I know a lot of people love Adam Cole.
I was waiting for Adam Cole all night. Vigilante.
Adam Cole is
so much
sloppy. He is so overrated.
Mid.
He's so mid. He is so mid, and he gets so much hype. And then people talk about some of the matches he's had, and he's a guy. He's in ring with like a Johnny Gargano. They'll make him look good.
Also, is it weird for me to say that Adam Cole's head is too big than the rest of him?
No, he looks.
I mean, like his legit head. I'm not talking about his
head is huge, and then he's like, he has such a small body. He's Vivo Lottie got more head than he got body. Just so he's a funny looking dude. He's not really a good promo. He just does that Adam Cole, baby.
Hey, tell me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he kind of look like a midget that was just stretched out on a rack?
A little bit.
With a tiny bobblehead on him.
Yes, with this weird bobble. Yeah, a weird looking guy. Now he's getting older, so his hairline is starting to recede, and so he's starting to look weird. Yeah, that's what his hair is starting to look like. This is Jay Little though.
Jay Leno twisting Hulk Hogan's arm. No,
This is
no.
ridiculous.
Just let me on your show, brother.
He should. He's not strong enough to twist his cock, let alone twist his arm. Fuck.
You know what he should have did? He should have just dropped his fucking jaw on him, over and over again.
Big ass chin. Or maybe have Hogan try to punch him, but his jaw's so hard that he hurts Hogan's hand.
Yeah, he does like
that.
he does the Hogan to Hogan when he punches him in the jaw.
Yeah, I'm calling BS on this.
I can't disagree. This was bullshit. Absolute garbage. Oh man,
that was all Vince Russo by that point.
Come on, bro. It would be great. You have Jay Leno, bro. People
swerve, bro. Swerve, bro.
All right, so I'm gonna say, all right. I actually have two guys left on the list, but should I end this with one, or should I just say both of them because they're kind of both in the same fucking boat with me?
You do both of them because we started to get late.
The fucking Miz and Dolph Ziggler. Fuck both of those guys. Those are the guys that got me. Those are the guys that got me tuning out of wrestling for quite some time. And they got so much fucking TV time.
They hyped both of them up too.
I think Dolph Ziggler's
for
pretty
so
good.
long. They hyped both of them up.
I think Dolph is pretty good in ring too. At times,
I don't believe that. I've never seen a guy jump around so much in the ring and never go off the top rope.
You know what? I will say this about the Miz though. Miz, when he first started, he was pathetic. He was basically just a body in the ring, but he did eventually put some work in and at least got mediocre.
He worked his way up the ladder to mediocre. Is a compliment.
You know what? Miz's gimmick is almost the Geech's at points, where it's like part of his gimmick. No, part of his gimmick was that he couldn't wrestle and everyone hated him. Remember?
Right.
The
Well, if you look at them, they do look similar.
The Geech. If you're out there, the Miz owes you a royalty check for stealing your fucking.
Remember, I'm not kidding though. When he won the title the first time and beat Cena at WrestleMania,
I can't believe. I'm disgusted that man was a multiple-time fucking disgusting
world title. He has held more world championships than Ted DiBiase, than Jake the Snake. Even that Andre, because he won it like 2 or 3 times, right?
Fucking Kurt Hennig.
No. You want to hear the crime? The ultimate crime is he's got more championships than Roddy Piper.
Roddy
Piper. I think, and like I said,
Rick Martel deserved the belt before this motherfucker did.
Bro, don't you know? Even guys who've won it only once or twice. I think Miz has more world titles than Randy Savage.
Ridiculous.
Because I think he's won it like 3 or 4 times. So he's had the belt more than Randy Savage. When you break that shit down, it's like, yeah, Miz definitely needs to be his next.
And that's just the heavyweight belt. You're not even talking about the Intercontinental belt, the United States Championship belt, all the freaking tag team championships he's had with different people.
Dolph Ziggler has more titles, more heavyweight title runs than Roddy Piper has. Dolph Ziggler has more heavyweight title runs than Ted DiBiase has.
Jake the Snake.
And Jake Roberts.
Then Vader even had, because Vader.
And Vader.
He
and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Scott Hall. I mean, all right, sorry. WWF, you're going to go and buy WWF. Razor Ramon, whatever.
Still. Even
Ken
Razor
Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock. Yeah. None of these guys won it.
Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger has a championship.
Oh, you talking about guys who had it? I'm like, Jack Swagger wasn't that good.
No, I'm just saying Jack Swagger has a championship.
Yeah.
Alberto Del Rio has multiple. Sheamus has multiple. Sheamus. Fucking Sheamus.
Sheamus. These all got, Alberto Del Rio, Sheamus, they held it more than Randy Savage, than Mick Foley. Then, you know what I mean? Even got you that those guys have held it 4 or 5 times. Peace.
Horrendous.
So
Is it
yeah.
just me, or when everybody's seen Jack Swagger come out, did it not remind you of Sylvester? Every time he came out, I just wanted to say "suffer fuck at that" every single time.
Yeah, they shouldn't put a mic near him.
No. I'm surprised his name didn't get brought up this whole time because he's definitely somebody not
Yeah,
really
he's
good
pretty
in the
boring
ring,
too.
not really good on the mic, just
Yep.
a big guy. He's big and I know obviously he was an amateur wrestler, so that's his whole gimmick. But it's like, he's not great.
There
at
were
anything.
better big guys in the ring than he was.
Yeah, I would have took Wade Barrett over him.
Yeah, I think I might have a stalemate there. I don't know.
Really, I like Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett was pretty fucking boring.
I actually liked him more when he was Bad News. I like that. I got some Bad News. That shit was cool. I don't know.
Well, just remembered how shit Geach was. That the match I just remembered the match he wrestled in.
Did he have
The
a
reason-
match against Wade Barrett?
No. Well,
It
was someone. Yeah, it was someone who was half decent though, because he'd gone for like a spear tackle, and Geach he jumped like about 2 foot before, like he got contact. So it looked like this dude had some kind of force field around him, and that's why he didn't wrestle. That's why they didn't let him wrestle, and they just let him fucking become like a fucking mouthpiece.
Is it just me, or is anybody else having like this Scooby Doo moment? I think that the Geach is really Jens. That's why I keep bringing him up.
No, go back, have a look at the picture.
I'm telling you
Not me.
what, peel off this icon right now, Slasher. We're going to see the Geach icon underneath it.
I think I want to see the Geach come back.
Me too.
Got no chance. I've seen him lately.
He's all geeched out.
Yeah, he's because he put on he bulked up and that, but
So maybe he has a better chance now.
no, because he can't wrestle, and he's only 5'8" sort of thing. He's my height, so 5'8", 5'9" sort of height.
And he's your height too, huh? Come on,
Yeah,
give us the Obi-Wan Kenobi from New Hope. Well, of course I know him. He's me.
But no, because I'm not married, and I could wrestle, but the reason why I won't wrestle is because fucking sooner or later you're gonna have some jobber fucking drop you on your head or something. And so, with Geach, we tried to tell him this. We tried to say, look, you're gonna fucking sooner or later get
You shouldn't worry about being dropped on your head. You already talk like you get dropped on your head.
but
never mind. Go ahead.
But it's if you can break your neck though. You can break it. There's people being paralyzed and that for fucking daft cunts. Just what was it? I think it was Goldberg. He dropped fucking someone on the head.
You know how many people have dropped people on their heads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're honest, the indies, man, that's even worse. If you've seen some of these indie matches, these two skinny fucks beating the shit out of each other. I think I brought up last time. This guy is power bombing this motherfucker as hard as he fucking can into the ring, trying to be. I guess he thinks he's a strong style Japanese wrestler. It's crazy. Another name just popped up, Brodus Clay. I mean, unless somebody
he was pretty
I
boring.
didn't see.
He was pretty boring too.
Just big for nothing.
There's a lot of boring wrestlers, but
yeah.
I was just going off.
To a degree. I mean, you can go down that list. Adrian Adonis was another one. He was not a flashy wrestler, and technically he could be considered a boring wrestler as well. I mean, the only thing that made up for it once again is the gimmicks that he always did
when he
over
went
the
gay?
top antics. The adorable Adrian Adonis. Ugh.
Well, all right. Well, he went gayer than he already was. Because first he was Village People gay, then he was pink scarf wearing gay.
Yeah.
The pink scarf wearing gay was supposedly a punishment for him because he didn't lose weight. But yet you're gonna bring in guys like Kamala who have big fat bellies, and they're known for their big fat bellies.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm out. I don't have any more to toss out there, personally.
But yeah, I'm over 3 hours. Holy shit, I'm almost at fucking 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I'll see you later, everybody.
Yeah.
Sentinel.
I agree. Sindel, I didn't see that earlier. He's not wrong. 95% of these new age wrestlers are kind of born in females, man. So many of these women can't wrestle.
I'm surprised Jens didn't bring that up at all. Hey,
I
Jens,
did.
Jens,
I said-
no. Now you go into your 40-minute rant about how much you hate women and women wrestlers. And
Yeah, I said 99% are shit. There's only 1%, which is Trish Stratus, who I'd like to see wrestling herself. And
all right, does anyone here actually think that any current women wrestlers are actually good wrestlers? Because I could only think of two.
fucking hell.
Which two? Which two do you have?
Yeah.
Which two do I think are actually good wrestlers?
Yeah.
Charlotte and Asuka. That's Asuka.
Okay. I would say Asuka.
Very Asuka.
And man, I want to, I'll be honest.
Don't get
not
me
good.
wrong. I'm not going by attractiveness.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If it's a hotness factor, I'm gonna say Alexa Bliss all the time right now.
Bro, Alexa Bliss is hot.
But
Yeah,
she is horrible in the ring. She is horrible.
I wouldn't say she's horrible. I'd say she's
Dude, she's got what does she have? What does she legitimately have? 3 wrestling moves in her entire playbook.
Yeah,
the rest is stomps
compared
and
to
kicks.
some of these chicks, that's 3 more. She got 3 more than some of these chicks.
That's true.
There's a lot of girls that I can't even think of their names, but they're just like nothing there. They're just pretty. There's this one chick that got a BBL I seen in NXT. I forgot her name, but I don't think she's that good of a wrestler. She just has a BBL and a fat ass.
Well, you know what? I think the biggest downslide to a lot of the women's wrestling that you're seeing now is when they started bringing all these wannabe MMAs or former MMA people in. Because you know what? There ain't nothing more boring than watching a whole bunch of chicks that are doing the exact let's tap somebody out like they're in the octagon.
Yeah, they brought in like 5 or 6 people with that same gimmick all at once. Because they had Ronda Rousey, they had
Shayna Baszler.
What was the other girl? They moved her. They switched her whole look up because now she looks cute. But she was what was her name? Sonya Deville. And then they had another couple girls that I can't even think of. And they all, it's like, okay, everybody's gonna do a bunch of rest holds and act like they're an MMA fighter. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, I thought Tommy was going to say the women's wrestling got shit when they brought in females.
Well, honestly, I think, because one of the wrestlers I like, but a lot of it's her looks like Sasha Banks. I think they need to.
You only like to better.
No. Let's get back to something really important here. So Jens is saying that female wrestling was better when they were swinging. Is that what you're saying, Jens?
No, I'm saying female wrestling was better when there wasn't any female wrestlers. It was just like
right. So you're saying female wrestling was better when the females were dudes. That's what you're saying?
Well, no, the females weren't dudes, but there was no female wrestling.
The females weren't dudes.
I think what you're trying to say is the females weren't wrestlers; they were like valets and shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
That's not true because when I started watching wrestling, we didn't have hot women wrestlers. We used to get women that looked like bags of laundry, like the fucking Fabulous Moolah and Leilani Kai and women like that. Like the only hot
Blaze, which was okay.
She was a little bit too doodly. But I'm saying, I
don't know. When I looked at Alundra Blaze, her face always reminded me of a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, she was a little too dude.
Yeah, she had a sport face.
But all right, Wendy Richter was basically the only hot woman when I started watching WWF at the time as a kid.
Mhm.
Wendy Richter, and then she was gone because the Fabulous Moolah did some shit and forced her out.
Yeah. I think it's a really fucked up story. I can't remember it offhand.
I used to like women's wrestling when they used to do it in mud and they won by taking the other opponent's bra off. That's the best female wrestling I know.
That sounds toxic. You're objectifying women.
But there would only
Hey,
be
no,
like one women's wrestling segment per show. Now there's like fucking 6 of them.
That's what the show is women's
They're
wrestling.
ending WrestleManias with these. They're legit.
no, they don't. Yeah, they don't. They don't.
No, they did a
don't.
couple years ago.
No, they
Yeah,
did.
Once.
No, they did
did it
twice.
once.
They
All
did
right,
it-
they did it.
No,
Wait.
They did
they're
it
gonna
twice.
keep doing it,
Yeah, they're
though.
not going to go for the third time.
they're
But no.
gonna keep doing it because now they split. You know,
No,
WrestleMania is 2
no, they
days
won't. No, they won't
Listen.
because it's so bad that they know a female main event. Half the audience just fuck off because it's like, well, it's
You
not
may
a main
be
event.
Wrong, but Yens, they're gonna try it again. If we didn't learn anything from entertainment industry the past 5 years, is they don't give a fuck about losing numbers to push their agenda. I'm telling you, especially when
No, but it's but it's not about the numbers. It's about the fucking
No, eventually
visuals.
it's going to be about the numbers. When everyone
No.
starts losing viewers and money at the drop of a fucking hat, yeah, eventually it's going to be about the numbers.
You're
Yeah,
not
they
wrong.
won't.
But I think they're gonna do it some more. I don't think they're done doing it. Maybe I'm wrong. I would like to be wrong.
Well, when
Triple H
was the
did
last
that.
time they did it? When was the
It
last
was-
time they did it?
They did it.
Not that long ago.
I want
It
to say
wasn't
a
that
couple
long.
years ago. Wasn't it Sasha Banks
And Charlotte. Charlotte, I know Charlotte had a fucking WrestleMania main event. Yes, I know.
They
she
had the
did.
one with they've done it. They might have done it 3 times because now, like I said, there's 2 nights, so they'll close night 1 sometimes with a women's match. I gotta check online. Let me Google. See how many
Yeah,
times they closed the Mania.
yeah. Because I'm thinking there's so many fucking events that it's not going to be a WrestleMania or a fucking
Well, now WrestleMania is
SummerSlam.
also 2. Now WrestleMania is always going to be 2 fucking days. So.
Yeah, you wait. They're going to make that a whole weekend at some point.
No, yeah. They'll have a match a day. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks guys for coming through.
Yeah, cheers for having us on, Sasha. And talking to
Hey guys, what's going on?
Tommy, go ahead.
Who I am. You know who I am. By now, you probably noticed all the little piggy paws all over your kitchen floor, and we've stolen all your veggies out of your fridge because times are hard and the guinea pig's got to get his. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for having fun with us. Make sure that you subscribe to everybody and get out there and have some fun, man. I know it's all doom and gloom right now, but you know what? It can't rain all the time. Remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent and the guinea pigs will assimilate your asses, every single one of you. Later, y'all. Slashers was a lot of fun. Vigilante, DBS, Jens, even you two. This was a lot of fun, guys. I had a blast.
I didn't think this was gonna run as long as I intended, but thanks for coming through, bro.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, man. Done some live streams, but I haven't done any videos. But I'll try and do a video of where Geach got his head slammed, just so people can, see.
Geach, Geach is my new hero, bro.
Oh yeah, you should have seen the fucking top rope, sort of like elbow drop, but it was lucky that the elbow didn't land on his head. It was more of his side shoulder sort of thing. But still, wait when you see it though, I'll try and look for it, but I'm not promising out. But yeah, I'll try and do some videos.
Dude, I think I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah, well, it's the wrestling is in Hull, the like federation he was wrestling for, and
Geach is my new favorite.
yeah, and they used that bit on one of the promotions because it was so hardcore. You know,
I want to see Geach versus Sabu, but ECW style.
oh, yeah,
That's what I want to see.
well, it's going to have to be like off Running Man, where it'll be just too virtual reality. Because Gigi doing it, he retired. I saw him. He's a bit out of shape, and that.
Let's
Uh,
let's
not
crowdfund.
real bad, but
Let's crowdfund a Geach versus Terry Funk and Sabu barbed wire match. Let's make it happen. Let's make this
oh,
wrestling event happen.
I'm fucking throwing a couple of quid into that, but
Me too.
it ain't gonna happen because
Well,
he's just not.
Terry Funk can't move these days. Terry Funk could probably. I mean, he might be able to move around better than Geach.
You know, Marvin can't move. Geach is not going anywhere near a wrestling ring. Never mind with barbed wire around it.
Shout out to Geach. But Jens, plug your channel.
Yeah, and yeah, I've got a Twitter account, 27A Pedersen. Thank you for
Gotcha.
your time and
All right.
Vigilante, thank you for coming through.
Hey, thank you for having me. And yeah, the second time again, because I had to look it up. It was night one of WrestleMania last year, 2021. They had Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and they made a big deal because it was the first time two black women were in the main event. So maybe they learned their lesson of woke. You might be right, but I don't trust companies. They love that woke stuff. So we'll see. We will see.
yeah, well, yeah, probably the next women's main event will be two cripples, two
Don't give them ideas, Jens.
lesbian
They'll do
cripples. Yeah, it'll be two lesbian
They will
cripples.
do it.
Wheelchair fighting?
Wheelchair
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah, and
Actually, Stephanie
it'll be-
McMahon, she's into that woke shit, man. And now she has
it'll be a
more
lot of
power.
scissoring.
The next women's event would be the one that Jens wants to see, where it's two women that are fighting that are not really women.
Oh no.
Well, they'll have to bring Nyla Rose over from.
They might, man.
Mm.
I don't give these people ideas because I know how crazy they are. But anyways, my channel exists. I may even.
It's happened before, though.
It's happened. Crazier stuff is happening in the world of wrestling. These are fun. These are fun. My channel exists. I talk my stuff. I talk about stuff that happens. Give my opinion on it. And I do podcasts and do long streams about it. So that's pretty much what my channel is. Sometimes I do gaming streams. May even do one later on tonight if I'm just feeling like it and just randomly do it, or I may fall asleep. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But please sub to my channel if you haven't. I think a lot of people have, but if you haven't, please do. I appreciate it. And thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to the lesbian wheelchair wrestlers who's on the main event next WrestleMania.
Yeah. A lot of scissoring action, I reckon.
Fuck God! Fuck God! She's scissoring the shit out of her.
Well, that's how the only way they're going to get fucking the audience to stay, because it'd be so much of a spectacle. It'd be like, well, this ain't going to ever happen again.
DBS, thank you for coming through.
Thank you. I do my live show every Thursday, 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We talk Star Wars. Come check it out. If you want to join my panel, just come on through.
You barely talk about Star Wars.
I always throw in Star Wars in there.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah. But I am a Star Wars channel.
You're mostly showing gross fucking
videos.
Glory
holes. It's more glory holes.
Girls looking toilets.
Black holes.
There's a lot of controversy out there, and it needs to be talked about. You know, it needs to be discussed. So I'm the one to do it.
Like girls licking toilets on Instagram?
Monetize.
Sucking bananas, really.
Well, I mean, listen, a lot of these girls are doing it anyway for Instagram. Somebody needs to make money off of it.
They're
Keep
doing
it
for views.
Yeah, they're doing it anyway.
If you like to see young 19-year-old girls trying to down a banana in one,
My,
D-
the
yeah,
dark side of the ring. My channel is the dark side of
DBS.
society, and what
There you
what the
go.
women do for views. It has to be addressed. I had to, talk about it, and monetized channel. So YouTube, they haven't caught on to me yet, but someday they will, and they'll take it down. But
Someday.
in the meantime, just come enjoy watching.
Thanks for hanging out, man.
And that's right. And DBS would like to thank himself once again, as shown in his icon.
But next time I come up with the worst of the worst, I'll talk to all you guys, see if you want to come through. Have a good one, folks.
Thank you. Come again.
Peace.